Hey, everybody. How's everybody been? Welcome on back. I'm getting it ready. I'm scrubbing up, brushing my teeth, getting me some damn coffee, because everybody needs some coffee. Eat you a good breakfast, because this thing's about to hit. Hello, my beautiful people. You know,
Where?
Mage is the only one that gets into my trans streams that's not trans because Mage is such a huge advocate. I invite him everywhere.
If you
So
say so.
Mage is honorary trans.
yeah, he's our honorary straight guy that's allowed to go everywhere with us.
Or he just hasn't come out yet.
Ooh.
Hold on. If this is the case, Egg Prime Directive, remember. If you know, you know.
It's the day for eggs. Just saying.
Yeah.
It is the day for eggs.
I love the irony of this showing up the same day as Easter. It's like
It is ironic, yes.
Well, it's only going to happen. Actually, One Ring, their birthday is on March 31st. And they said that it only hits Easter once every 11 years.
mm-hmm.
So people need to just chill out about that shit.
I'd
The
actually
Christians
expect
need
it
to
to be
quit
less
freaking
frequent
out.
than that.
Yeah, it's only going to be like once every decade that we're going to overlap with them. So screw them.
This is probably the first time since the holiday is only 15 years old.
Yeah. So we have a desk and we got a Jason, a demon, a Randy. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. And if you didn't, I'm sorry for your luck.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah. So we're going to do our normal Sunday conversation, but we're going to start out with trans stuff. And I'm going to put Jenny up here because Jenny's pretty much, she's the gal here for that.
Oh, nonsense.
Well, I got Ember up here too and Sabrina, so I got all kinds of shit going on now.
It's all yours.
yeah.
I'll watch and listen.
I invited-
I'm done for today.
I don't know shit about no damn trans people. Bunch of perverts.
Ember, can I just say, every time you play an old video, you look so weird with a beard.
I very much feel that. It's
Do you?
I almost don't
feel
want
like
to do
it's just
premieres
weird.
because then I have to watch myself and be like, ugh.
Yeah, right. I want to go back and like delete everything I did before I start getting facial hair. I can't stand my voice. I can't stand how I looked. It totally drives me nuts. Hello, Miss
Hi, Maya.
Maya. How are you,
Maya.
beautiful? Another
Yeah,
big
it's a
advocate in our
temptation.
community.
It got worse after Bree mentioned that she was thinking, or she has done, or something along those lines, redoing past videos now that she's transitioned. And I'm like, we can do that? I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah, because it's weird. Bree did the same thing to me. When I saw some of her old videos, I was like, that is so strange. I mean, she's just, I don't know, it just fits her so freaking well. And I don't know, it's just, she was always meant to be a she, definitely. Like, it's just, there's just no doubt about it. So it's hard for me to picture some people the way they were, because I'm like, no, that wasn't right.
I think Bree looks great.
Oh my God, Bree's beautiful. Holy crap. Went from cute guy to holy shit woman. Like, really. She's absolutely beautiful.
Well, now I have to hate her though.
Ember said, goals. Get Jenny to hate me. And I know I have surpassed all the trans goals.
Honestly, I'm
Bree's
finding
great.
there's of course pluses and minuses. I feel much better about myself in this past month. Actually, it's been 1 month exactly since I started HRT. It's
Really?
not a lot, but it's cool.
I was gonna. No, it's cool because, well, everybody always, the trans thing is that you can't count the first month because there's nothing in your system. So you start at your anniversary, 1 month anniversary, and say
I
that
beg to
now I'm on
differ.
HRT. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It'll change. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like one day, like I always hated my butt and my hips because I had like wide hips, but it was always just excess weight. It was the only place I ever carried weight when I was slim, was just in my butt and my hips. And so mom used to tease me and say, "Oh, you got baby making hips." Well, then one day I looked down and realized my hips were gone. And it was all like up in my belly and in my, I got more of a spare tire out of it, which I'd rather have a spare tire. And now I'm really slim, and all the pants that I always wanted to fit me a certain way, they fit me that way now. So my old thighs and stuff that were always tied around my butt, they're loose and just the perfect baggy comfy now. It's, oh my God. It was one of the, besides my facial hair, was one of the best things that happened. Well,
Hell yeah.
third, facial hair, top, and then that.
I always chuckle about it when I'm talking with a trans man, that how each of us are after the polar opposites of each other, but still both absolutely delighted when we achieve those things, and how it can be just, I mean, the polar opposites, that people can be so completely committed to something so opposite another. It's just, it's,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird to me.
It, in a way, it's kind of shitty because, you know, Hirschfeld was experimenting with organ transplants back in the 20s before, you know, the funny mustache dude and his minions came and wiped them out. How much further along we'd be if that research had been able to continue, because I've met so many trans men, and I'm like, what if we just were able to swap gamete producing organs? Like, you get the organs that naturally crank out testosterone, I get the organs that naturally crank out estrogen, and everybody's happy, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
just
know,
hook it up to a blood supply and go.
It's really just a question of the mechanics of the procedure. I mean, we know that we can give people cyclosporins and things like that to fight off rejection and stuff. It's just, let's do it. Come on, let's get busy. Of course,
Actually,
you'd have to find two people who are closely similar in their profiles, but
that may not even be necessary. I just learned today, I'm doing interviews for the Comic-Con that I run in Watertown, and I interviewed a 3D printing person. Long story, but the TLDR is that the cutting edge stuff in 3D printing is now that they're taking cells from your nerve cord, converting them back into stem cells, and then putting them in a matrix that has a framework that you can also 3D print out of like cellulose and shit.
yeah.
And exposing them to hormones and growing rejection-resistant organs because they're your organs. Now, if you're exposing them to hormones during this process, it's not inconceivable that you could take somebody and generate either testicles or ovaries regardless of their chromosomes, because it's the exposure to the hormones that tells the gametes what to be, you know?
Right.
I first started thinking about exactly what you just described, probably back in my early college days. Why couldn't they do this? I mean, I don't know much about this stuff, but why couldn't they do that? It makes sense, you know, and apparently it does. That's good news.
In theory, it's still super cutting edge shit, but like, I mean, even being able to 3D print an arm to help an amputee. One more thing Jesus never did, but we're fucking taking care of now.
Well, that's how they've been working on developing the transplant, or the cloned kidney, the cloned heart, and the cloned liver is on that little framework stuff that you can harvest out of any given person, that you can harvest out of an animal and still use, because it has nothing to do with rejection or not.
Well, they're doing stuff like, okay, for instance, this lady had throat cancer. So they took healthy cells off of her throat and had a tube that looked just like a trachea, and they put her cells around it, let it grow around it. And then they trimmed it down and they put it in. No rejection, it's her cells. So now they're going to start working on organs. So everybody cross your fingers for kidneys for me. I might be able to live to a ripe old age if they get on this soon.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, regeneration is a whole new science that they're working feverishly on, because it really is going to be the answer to a lot of shit. I mean, you could grow somebody a new arm, a new leg, a new heart, a new eye. You know, it's
right. And that's what I'm hoping. If they just could grow me a new kidney with my own cells, they could just stick it on the left side, And then when the right gets too much, we'll just take it out. We can just take it out now.
I
give
just
me
wanted to be
the
able
healthy
to
one.
grow. I just wanted to be able to grow me a third breast.
So you can get Arnold Schwarzenegger to take you to Mars.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Then you're gonna need to meet somebody with 3 hands.
Oh no, 2 hands in 1 mouth. That's enough. That's enough.
Oh, okay.
More than a mouthful's wasted, anyways.
Yeah.
It's true. What
Captive.
was the other one? Oh, this one. I'm sorry. That's the one I meant to click on.
Oh, captive. Thank you, by the way, for your compliment. That's very kind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing is if they can start regrowing organs with the healthy tissue from the organ you have, you know, yeah, I mean, that's amazing. There is no rejection. There's no rejection pills and getting sick and going to the hospital all the time for the rest of your life. So it's it's huge advancement.
Captive, I have heard that they are working on pancreas as well.
I just want to know if they can just take some of my cells and grow me a dick.
Well,
I mean,
I'm actually arguing with somebody.
Yeah, I think
who's using
you could.
they're usually using the BS argument with the phyloplasty, where they take it from the arm and it looks terrible right after doing it, and they're looking at the image. Oh my God! Look what they did.
Well, yeah, it has to heal up. But also, people need to remember this too. There's a lot of advancements. Like I had top surgery and they cut my chest wide open. Do you think they used a staple on me? Fuck no, they glued me. And the lines are already 1 year. I just hit my 1 year mark 3 weeks ago. And 1 year, the lines are so freaking faint. I feel like another year and a half, they're going to be almost totally not visible.
All right.
Oh my God. You want to see?
Yeah, and they always use a relatively fresh
Look how tiny they are.
surgery thing.
Nice.
Wow.
They're really
Can't see
fucking
that on
tiny.
camera.
Little bitty titty.
Those
Well,
are the finest lines I've ever
honestly,
seen.
I haven't seen a cosmetic surgeon to adjust my nipple size, so they're full sized. She didn't mess with those.
They don't look overly big. They don't.
No, they don't.
No, I mean they're kind of big for what my family's typical guy nipple size is, but not by much. So they're just placed a little too low. That's really the only thing that bugs me. They need to be picked up a little bit. But that's just, some grand of money and some good insurance that'll cover it.
The insurance part.
What's this? Was looking at some of the scaffolding that is used for working on growing new organs. Debunks of conspiracy claims about what was being done led me to see what was up about it. Oh, okay.
What were the conspiracy claims? I'm dying to hear that.
Oh God.
It's some.
Yeah, you
some
got to tell us,
subject
Reggie.
matter for
Is
Bad Science
is
Sunday.
that part of making us
Wait,
lizard
are we
hybrids?
monetized?
Look, I need like 400 more subs to be monetized. I have no fear of getting there. I've had this channel actually this February, 4 years of me doing live streams. And I need 400 more subs. Never going to happen.
Yeah.
Highest I've ever
Yeah.
been, I got to like 661 651 is the highest I've ever been, I think.
Well, you're at 657 right now.
Really? Oh, well, anyways.
Although you could be at the highest ever because we did just send a bunch of people over from Kentucky Atheist.
Oh,
It's
well, maybe
possible.
that's what it is. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always better if people pay me to do things. So if I start getting paid to do this, the quality's really going to improve.
Randall, I still have my scar too, but the doctor when he did me, he fucked up, and the lower end, just the very end of it,
Oh yeah,
down around the sternum or solar plexus, got infected.
Steak Ember.
And shit, all kinds of shit can happen when you got an infection going. It lasted for quite a while. This is all post-op, and
yeah, that's
I ended up with a skin feature that looks like a miniature third tit. It's just the way that it's just
they
the way the
pinch
flesh
skin up.
Yeah, it's just the way it happened to heal, and it's kind of funny. It's also kind of embarrassing because I can't really show anybody it. You know, I don't
Yeah.
want to have a low cut top because I don't want people to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like right over here. It's just a little weird, but it's not like pinched. You know what I mean? So maybe over some time it's only been 1 year, so yeah, but I'm pretty impressed with it. She used glue when I had my micro emergency surgery. Can't tell. Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, with that makes sense. With some smaller things, you don't even need to use staple or stitches. Just like
Yeah.
bio glue, basically. Yeah, and scar healing, like there is a genetic component to that kind of thing. Like so, some people we heal from scars more easily than others, and then it also depends upon the nature of this of like the.
Yeah, I actually heal pretty good. I mean, my when they cut me open, stapled me back together with either 32 or 36 staples. I can't remember, but it was one of those two numbers. Those staples were big, and there was like a line of flesh that had like healed. You know what I mean? It was not pretty, and it came out actually pretty neat, considering like it does not look as bad as I thought it would years later. So it was I heal pretty good, so I'm lucky there. Hello, the Sinister of Les Porpas.
Oh,
How
I
are you?
forgot to change my background back to what it should have been, but that's okay. I like this one better.
It's
Hell
okay.
yeah.
It's fancy. It's fancy.
So, if anyone wants to see what I've been doing most of the day,
Sure.
I'm sure you're going to find this far less exciting than I do. Where are we? There we are.
You look nice today, Porp.
Thank you.
God, one vowel.
Wrong vowel.
Fucking vowels.
How dare you?
Say the same thing.
Again, those vowels.
It's almost
Well,
getting
that
to where it needs to be, too.
looks absolutely boring. But okay, cool. I'm glad you were working on that.
Oh,
Well,
you did that?
That is the results of something I've been doing.
Oh boy.
What is the result?
You saw the results. The Python program is what I'm trying to get.
See, now that just looks like a novel with a lot of quoted speaking by the characters.
Porp.
All right, so
You got to go down at the bottom, so porpoise isn't covered.
See, I
I'm
like
sorry.
perp because you can say perp the derp, but you can't say porp the dorp. Just doesn't sound
I
right.
mean, you just
No.
did, so clearly you are capable of it.
Well, yeah, but
Could
it
say-
doesn't sound right.
You could change it to prop the drop. Yo. Sorry. I try, but I'm just like such a freaking Eastern white dude. Like,
hey, nothing wrong
say
with
no to
the-
Emacs and use VI or 5 or 6 rather, or whatever that is.
Virtual intestines.
There will be no editor wars here because we all know that if we must use a command line editor, the choice is nano.
Oh,
Do
Jenny,
we know?
you're so funny. Jenny being so funny.
Drop the prop made me think of Gallagher, though, so thanks.
Oh, yeah,
That
Gallagher
was
was
pretty
a fucking
dad-ish.
nut.
Yeah, that's fair.
He died, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am a dad, so my kid's 33 and I'm getting old, so it fits, Kevin. Also, wonderful to
didn't
see
change
you,
my-
and I'm glad that you are around. Missed
I
your
did
I
face.
not.
can't, I can't
My
believe your
avatar
kid is
back.
the same age as me.
Really, you're 33?
I just turned 33 2 days ago.
Oh, well, he turns 33
That's why I'm
in
eating
June.
leftover birthday cake.
He's 4 months younger than
let's
you
see,
then.
So 2 days ago, so that's late March.
Well, I've had some
So
things.
does that mean that in July of this year, you're going to be 33 and a third?
Yep, I did specifically look at that.
Yeah, I've had some stuff going on. Friday was Molly's 1 year anniversary of being adopted, and today is 33 years ago, wherein I had my stroke and found out I had epilepsy. And interesting enough, it was Easter that
Thank you,
day
sir.
as well.
Nerdy said, I'm 33, but only if you're Irish.
I don't follow that one.
I don't know. Maybe 2/3 don't count. Don't remember what the claim was, but learned about decellularization being done to create a scaffold, wiping out the original cells while leaving extracellular components and regrowing with new cells.
Regios, that is absolutely correct. And they can
Yeah.
do that operation, I have been told, with Dawn dishwashing liquid
What?
to remove all the
remember
old
that
cells.
news story that was on like 2020 maybe. I don't know. It was a while ago. Yeah, it's weird that they can get away with Dawn.
I've heard of using Dawn dish soap to extract the strawberry cells.
Guys,
DNA.
you're missing it. It's 422.
Oh no!
No, I ain't missing it, man.
Thanks, Jenny.
I just want to say, if everyone wants some ham this Easter, I have some. Come get some.
Just so you know, Porpoise, the only reason I took that down was because I realized there was people's names on the left. So
Oh, they're
that's why
not
I
real
took
people's names.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well.
Well, they probably are, but they're not supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
It was done using a program.
They're names that aren't connected to individual people.
It was done using a program on Linux you can use just to generate fake names called Random Identity Generator.
Neat.
I have a ham in the oven. I'm sorry, Dave. I don't like
that
ham.
A euphemism?
Better than having a bun
No,
in the
he
oven.
literally has a ham in the oven, but I just don't like ham. Even if I was allowed to eat it and you said, well, you can have ham or you can have this bowl of salad, I'd go, give me the bowl of salad.
Depends on the
Like,
salad.
if that was the first thing offered to me as meat, as being a non-vegan again, I would take the salad. That's how much I don't like ham.
See, I got over my transition to veganism by ordering that salad, but then letting it sit for like 3 or 4 days till it turns brown, and then I think it's meat.
Oh no.
No, that doesn't work.
Gets chewy.
Why didn't anyone tell me my German was spelled wrong?
You're who?
My German.
Maybe I don't speak German and I didn't know, or don't read it either.
Maybe it's not shocking.
Maya, I think that's a good idea. You know, here's my thing. You know, I there's certain pork I love. I love pork ribs, and I love a good thick stuffed pork chop.
Bacon.
But pork is so similar to us. The fact that we can take things out of a pig and put it in us and it works makes me feel like we're a little too akin to be chewing on a fucking pig. And they're very intelligent.
One of the reasons it's so tasty.
That's why I'm not really for eating pork in general.
Yeah, but if you drop dead and you're in a pigsty, there's going to be no body to bury. It's not like they're these cushy little sweet creatures.
Same thing with chickens.
Yeah, they will eat you to death. Or
look,
after
Mark,
death.
saying I'm not exactly for eating pork. I don't care if people do. I'm just not for it. Does not make me a Muslim. I will not follow anybody that's a pedophile anywhere in life. So nope, not a Muslim.
No Haikikachu for you. Oh,
not okay.
You
with
meant
it.
Mohammed.
Yeah.
Long
okay. Yeah,
pig.
that too.
Or long pork,
Long pig. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Actually, I've heard the meat is very similar.
Exceedingly.
What is long pig?
That's a euphemism for human meat.
Because when you cook human, it smells like pork. Because it's so very similar.
Well, I do know
it's
the
very
story.
similar. The color is similar and everything.
So we're like the other white meat.
Well,
yes, we literally are.
Well, they were trying to test the sensor for a machine to taste, and the guy testing it accidentally put his hand on the thing, and it registered as bacon. So just remember, the machines take over. They think we taste like bacon.
I might program that deliberately if I were a programmer.
His skin must have been salty.
Like, if job equals cop or anything that identifies him as a cop, it'll just come up as bacon just as a joke.
Oh, wait a minute, this one.
Fair enough.
Yes, exactly.
But,
baby, the other white meat.
But it would only be a joke. There's no need to antagonize them.
It's my birthday feast. Ribs every year for as long as I can remember. You know, that reminds me, Mr. Desk, when I was a truck driver, I was with someone who ended up out of work. She was out on disability, had a trach, was having breathing problems, all this shit. So I went back to driving truck, and I said, I'm going to do this, pay the bills for me and you and your kid. And she said, thank you. What can I do for you? And I said, every time I come home, I want a steak. And she said, okay. And in the dead of winter, even in the dead of winter for 1 year, well, it was like 10 and a half, 11 months, something like that, almost a year. Every time I came home, she would stand out there in a jacket grilling it. And I'd say, babe, just cook inside. No, it's not.
You're cutting out. You're cutting
Yeah.
out,
Cutting
Beck,
out a
all over the
lot.
place.
It's got to be grilled.
Every
Okay.
other word.
Okay.
Oh, we
I
broke
think
back.
the wind is screwing with my. I think the wind is screwing with my reception. I apologize. I don't know what you heard.
He stood out in the wind in a jacket grilling in the middle of winter.
And that's when it started getting bad.
No, the woman did it for a year.
Yeah, she did it for almost. She promised, and she stuck to her promise. But in the meantime, she was stealing money out of my account behind my back and sticking it in her account. But it's just $4,500. It's fine. But I got that goddamn steak, which I'm sure I paid for.
Oh yeah.
Lung pig. There you go. And hello, Aunt Jerd. Good to see you. Oh. Sawin. Like that?
Oh, Samhain, yeah.
Oh.
The opposite. Well, since Easter moves around, it's not exactly opposite. Walpurgisnacht is the opposite of Halloween, but yeah, Samhain is how you pronounce Halloween in the Celtic.
What are you
Samhain,
cutting down on
Samhain.
it for, Dave? I'm
Which
curious.
Celtic?
Why are you cutting back on your meat? I'm curious. Because I had to since, so I'm interested in that topic. Marty, also good to see you. I just started talking to you and didn't say hi, so hi.
I saw a photograph
What's
on the
expensive?
net yesterday that was a picture of meat in the meat case at a grocery store, rather expensive meat, and it had a sticker on it that it is a RF chip protected. You know how they do that to high price items?
Yeah.
They did
It
to
makes
meat.
sense because the prices are really
is
freaking
now
high.
protected that way. Yes.
Actually, I'll have you guys know, I've lived in some rough areas, and there was stores about 6-7 years ago that were sticking those tags that they would stick on like the wine bottles and, like Jenny said, the expensive shit, and they stuck them in the meat pack. So if you try to walk out the door with a hunk of meat, if it was anything over like $10 or something like that, they stuck one of those in the pack with the fucking meat. And they put an extra label on there that warned you it was in there so you wouldn't like eat it. And the idiots still tried to steal it. And the alarm would go off and fucking security would go tackle their ass.
I mean, that
Two
reminds me
reasons.
of one time when I was still working as a buggy kid at Walmart. One time someone basically took a cart full of stuff and was trying to leave with it, and me and one of the loss prevention guys were basically chasing them. Like, I wasn't going to tackle the guy, but just simply the intimidating factor eventually ditched the cart. But like, aside from like on top there was like a television or something like that, but in the cart, in the bottom of the cart, it was almost completely meat. And I'm like, what? And he's like, no, this is actually common. What LP told me. So I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
There was I used to shop at a store all the time, and I shopped there like multiple times a week. It was when I was with that chick with the kid. I was always going down there and buying stuff. Two of the cashiers knew me and stuff, and somebody was talking about somebody stealing something, and I was like, what happened? And they said, oh, this guy came in, got one of those big Rubbermaid trash cans, lined it with tinfoil, standing in the store, lined it with tinfoil, right, in the trash can section, put it in a cart, put the lid on, walked over to the meat section, filled it up, closed the lid, paid for the trash can, and walked out the door. No one checked the trash can.
Love it.
And I mean, he stole like they think it's like $400 or $500 worth of meat. Like that trash can was full of fucking like the best cuts. He got all the best cuts. Dude, I stole so much beer in the 80s. When I was like 11, 12, 13, we go in there and stick them in our sleeves and shit and walk up to the cash register, buy a candy bar at the convenience store and go drink it.
Oh,
Yeah, we usually stole like 2 or 3 at a time because we were drunk. If there was 2 of us and we had like 1.5, we were drunk. So
yeah. I was confused for a second and then realized, oh, wait, alcohol sales work differently here in Canada, though recently has relaxed for my entire childhood up until like I think my like 25 or something like that. Alcohol was only available for sale in dedicated stores. You couldn't get it in convenience stores. You couldn't get it in grocery stores. You can get it in grocery stores now, but you still can't get it in convenience stores or anything like that.
are you kidding? Like Ohio, check this out. This will probably blow your mind, Sabrina. Ohio and Florida, and there's a few other states I can't remember right now, but those 2 for sure because I've lived in them and used them. They have drive-through alcohol and cigarettes.
Yep. You've told me.
You don't even have to get out of your fucking car. You can if you
They'll
want.
even
You can
open
park
it for
and go
you.
inside. It's a fucking convenience store, but it has a drive-through, and that's where all the fucking beer is. And they just put it right in your trunk, and you pay them, and like they'll hand it to you. They don't care. Where do you want it? They don't give a shit. I'm like, I feel like it all should be put in the trunk first of all, so you're not like popping one going down the road. You're less encouraged to pop one going down the road. But yeah, and the great thing is we had one that was right next to what was it, a laundromat? It was the drive-through alcohol cigarette place and a fucking daycare. So you could like pick up your kid at the daycare, drive through, get your alcohol, get your dry clean, just go home. You know, it's perfect.
Wait, you said laundromat
Insane.
though. Dry cleaners and laundromats are not usually
Well, whatever. It was one of those. It was something like that. I don't really remember.
I
Might
mean,
have been an
when you mentioned
alteration
the
place.
alcohol place
I
and the
don't-
laundromat, it's like, oh, I go in, put my laundry in, and while I'm waiting for it, I might as well go and grab a beer.
Yeah.
Like,
Chug it.
that seems like a
Just
good,
keep
that
the
seems
key
like a-
out of the ignition. They can't do anything to you.
Yeah.
As long as you don't
I
move
I mean,
the
you
car.
wouldn't even have to worry about that. You could park, and then after you put your laundry in, you don't even have to drive over to the other place because it's right beside it. It's like, I'm not even driving right now, officer. I'm just literally walking down the street with the beer.
That's
New York
illegal
is
in
mean
some
about
places.
that. We have
I know.
open
Yeah,
container
but that's more,
laws.
at least in my experience,
Yes.
the
Beer barn. Yeah.
public drinking is more of a municipal control. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong. If like some states have restrictions, but at least around here, laws regarding like having open alcohol in public spaces is usually municipally controlled.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I need to put another space in there between the percent
I think
and
pretty
the
much-
percentages.
I think pretty much everywhere I've lived, there's been a drunken public law. Like you can't just go walking down the street drinking a beer. Now, there are times when there's like festivals or they have parades or whatever, they're okay with it. And even like where I grew up, you couldn't carry the bottle around, but if you poured it in another container, they would never check your container. You just had to put it in a different cup.
And that's why I always find that the rules about open alcohol containers kind of strange. It's like, so they're just gonna put it in a water bottle or something like.
Yeah, that's actually something my grandfather used to do. This is how you get away with drinking.
Jason, I love meat.
You just put it in a solo cup like this, and they won't check it.
That's what we used to do when we went to the beach. We would just bring a big, you know, like a big gulp cup or something. Because remember, they sell those, 7-Eleven sells those big gulp cups with the reusable straw. So we would just like use one of those and just pour a bunch of alcohol in it and go sit on the beach and fish. You know, we were more worried about getting caught not having a fishing license than we were the alcohol.
I mean, that's also more serious. It depending on where you are, that's a significantly more serious crime.
Yeah.
Hunting or fishing without a license is is in some areas it's treated very serious, taken very seriously.
Yeah, but there's reasons for that.
Yes. Yes, there's a lot of reasons for it.
Well, they don't want anybody to overfish the coast either.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So
I mean,
they
it's only
want
that also,
they only want to give out so many licenses a year to do that.
Well, but I was gonna say it's not only that though. My understanding is with a lot of places that have licenses, with the licensing fees are used for conservation and repopulation as well,
Yes.
kind of thing. So the reason I know about that is because I know someone here who doesn't fish anymore, but he still maintains his fish license because he's like, yeah, I
Does he?
just want to keep. He maintains his fishing license so that he's still contributing to that conservation effort for fish, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know a guy. Well, he's retired now. I don't even. He's really old if he's still alive. But he worked for 30 plus years when I knew him, and he hadn't quit his job yet because he loved it so much. So he was just like packing on retirement money. And he worked at the game and fish at the fishery, and he would go stock the ponds and like inventory fish and see what's going on, check the different areas. He had certain areas he had to check, and he loved it. And he would stock them, and then he'd go fishing, you know. And then he'd take some food home, you know, after they were built up. He would go fish because he knew which ones had the fish that were grown up, you know. But they were fishing areas, and he would stock them, and that was part of the thing he did. And it not only kept tourism up to make more money for the fishery, but it also helped the environment of each place because they put in the fish they wanted to cohabitate to make the environment as good as they could. So it was a really cool job. I was like, why can't I have a job like that?
And now the Republicans are trying to ban cohabitation.
They're trying to ban everything that doesn't say fucking KJV on it or some shit.
Yep.
Or God Bless the USA Bible, which has the
right. Because only beer was in brown glass bottles back then. Yeah.
Our little Speaker of the House, Mikey Johnson, came out and said that regardless of who wins the presidential election, he considers it his mission to get Project 2025 enacted into law in this nation.
I believe he said it, but I don't think it's going to work very well without, one of the two candidates. Assuming they survive till November, because A, they're old, and B, they're very unpopular. Although one much more than the other.
And the way things are going, they might actually lose the House. It was before the whole election.
Oh, Jason. Yeah.
Mark wants to know if anybody. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just the whole what I heard was blue Kool-Aid in a Windex bottle. Drink from it. Like,
freaking people out. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. No, I have not received my free Trump Bible in the mail yet. I ain't paying for that bitch. They want to send it to me. I'll use it for fucking lighting fires or something. I'll take it.
Toilet paper.
Good fire starter. Yeah, it's a little rough for me.
I'm
really picky about what touches my ass.
But anyway, different point.
It has to be a certain kind of toilet paper. I'm not happy.
I want to be.
What about Trump's toilet paper?
If
With his
I
face
think
on
it's
it.
wrong for them to burn our books, I think it would be wrong for me to burn their books.
Only if it is bound in human skin. Long pig leather.
Oh, actually, that was just in the news this past week. Harvard had a book from the 1800s that was bound in human skin, and they've had it for centuries. But they just this past week decided to remove the human skin because it was weird and gross.
It's $60 for that Bible.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When he first started advertising, I thought they said 40. It's 60. Fuck.
Well, it does have a leather cover.
Yeah.
And it comes with a copy of the Constitution.
And Declaration of
and the Bill of
Independence.
Rights and the Declaration of Independence.
When it has a copy of the Constitution, like, is it an actual copy of the Constitution or a modified copy of the Constitution?
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering.
That's a good question.
Like,
I don't know. I haven't read it. How would I know
I'm
what he put in it?
The person who mentioned that it has a copy of the Constitution.
That would be an interesting little study to make is to look at Constitution duplicates that have been done by Republicans versus done by Democrats versus independents.
Yeah, and the reason you partially hit it on the head, but the reason I asked that is because I know that if you actually go ahead and read the whole Constitution, like, it doesn't work that well for Republicans. Without, like, you have to take it out of context and misread stuff. But
And also-
if you have the full
Oh, yeah.
thing
Well,
there,
there's
it's
a
like,
reason
wait a
they've never
second.
bothered to read it.
I'm also wondering.
You know what? I guess it's the same thing with the Bible itself. It's like though this isn't true for everyone, but I know for some people, when they actually go ahead and read the Bible, they're like, "Oh, wait a second, what the hell?"
So
Reading the Bible has made a lot of atheists, but the thing that's important is just because that is the case, it does not mean that people who are like adamant Bible believing Christians and everything like that don't read the Bible. My parent, well, at least my mom, I'm pretty sure my dad does too, but at least my mom, like they've both read the Bible multiple times, like in its entirety, and still are devout believers. And there are plenty of people I know who I can genuinely say have read the Bible, but the problem is they allow. Basically, they don't absorb it the same because they're not looking at it in.
They didn't look at it critically.
They're not looking at it critically. They're looking at it just like, what's the word?
Metaphorically?
Meditatively, I guess. Meditating on its contents and thinking about it, but not actually like critically analyzing it.
the phrase you're looking for is confirmation bias. They're ignoring the parts they don't like.
Yeah, I'm
They're
wondering.
still reading it, but they're not even perceiving the things that are wrong with it.
I'm wondering
which is
with this,
confirmation.
yeah, I'm wondering with this Trump Bible, did they cut out all the woke stuff, like turn the other cheek that Jesus said?
Well, you know what I was wondering, Mage? This is my thought on it. Let's say he put all that stuff in the front of the Bible, right? So they can read the God Bless the USA song, and then they get into the other shit, and then they read it and go, wait a minute, Trump is fucked up. Because if they read it properly, they'll realize he's fucked up before they even get to the bad stuff that's in the Bible.
Understand that this Trump Bible, it's the people who they want, their target audience isn't going to read it. The target audience isn't going to read it at all. The point of it is to make them money, is to get money for them.
Oh yeah, it's just trying to, it probably cost them $5 to make it. They're just really trying to. He needs money and he doesn't want to admit
KJV?
it. Like,
are you
yes,
fucking kidding me?
No,
the Trump Bible's
of course
KJV.
It is.
Oh my god! And they're charging $60.
Yeah,
fuck them.
Well, you know, as they said, blessed are the cheesemakers. It's not meant to be taken.
There's anything to be embarrassed. There's anything to be embarrassed about. I'm embarrassed to be from Earth.
Actually, the funny thing about King James is that King James was very, very bi. Which is one of the reasons people think there's a lot of anti-gay stuff in the KJV. Because the translators didn't like it.
Well, King James was gay.
Gay? Okay.
Oh, he's gay, not even bi. Okay, didn't know that.
The King's English. Ooh, cheese. Who's got cheese? Where's cheese?
I got cheese.
Oh, I love cheese.
Blessed be the cheesemakers.
Okay.
My uncle gave me a bunch of food just before this whole thing started, and some of it was just these little cheese blocks.
That's
So-
That's why they call Wisconsin God's country.
Mage, I have a question for you since you have a dog.
There's a few things I can agree with there.
Do you have cheese or does Molly have cheese?
I have cheese.
I'm sure Molly will be planning on fixing that.
Dogs can't digest cheese.
My cat can't digest milk. That doesn't stop her from trying. I try to stop her, but
I can't digest milk or cheese, but it doesn't stop me from trying.
She does have
My
her own.
cats drink what I have. They get nut juice because I have almond milk because I am not allowed real milk anymore. They do not fight to get my almond milk.
Yeah,
She
when
does
you
have
said
her own
nut
duck
juice, I was
jerky, though.
I was thinking something a little bit different, but anyway.
and to the
I'm
people in
sorry,
chat,
I know
I
you're
said it
silly,
on
but
purpose. It's
Okay.
okay.
if you're going to quote the life of Brian, get the quotes right, please. The quote is, "It's not meant to be taken literally. It refers to all manufacturers of dairy products."
Yes, that's true. But Birkenstocks are made out of leather, so technically it's hide. So yeah, they can eat that. I don't suggest they do once it's,
cured.
Well,
Once you need to
into
buy a new
the
pair.
form of a shoe.
yeah, the goat cheese they're fine with. That's good for them.
Goat cheese is better for everybody than cow's
Yeah,
milk.
my understanding is goat milk either doesn't have or doesn't have very much lactose.
Yes, it has less than cow's milk for sure. Because I, even when I could eat milk, I'm lactose intolerant, and if I drank one glass of milk, horrible gas, like really bad. So, yeah. But when I eat goat cheese and drank goat's milk, didn't do it to me.
Is that why they had to evacuate that mall?
Yeah. Beck doesn't get the joke.
No
Okay.
idea what you mean.
So, you were talking about the consequences of consuming dairy for a lactose intolerant person.
Mhm.
And then Jenny's like, and is that why they had to evacuate the mall?
Right, I heard that. I don't know
Yeah.
what that means though.
Bad
The
gas.
excess gas, they had to evacuate the mall because. Okay. Jenny's being mean. Just to be clear.
They had to
No,
evacuate.
that wasn't mean. That was fun mean.
It would
Yeah,
have been,
like
except I didn't know what you did. Some mall get evacuated because of gas?
Because of
The fart was
No.
the fart was so
farting a
bad
lot,
it's
basically.
everybody had to leave.
Yeah, that's what the joke was.
No, okay, I get it now. I just didn't know if it was based on a true story, and she was throwing me in as the blame, as who to blame.
No,
Or
a
what?
fake story,
Didn't
and you're not to blame
Oh,
because
okay.
it's fake.
I mean,
It's okay. I'm to blame anyways.
one thing we have to understand is when it comes to Jenny, and by the way, I'm saying this mostly for my own benefit because I constantly forget this. When it comes to Jenny, most of the stuff Jenny says is fake stories.
Oh, now wait a minute. Most? I don't think so.
Oh, should I say all? Am I supposed to say all?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Very
Where
little.
you going
Very
with
little. I say it's fake story.
Okay.
Like the time I was no.
I was waiting.
Here we go.
I was waiting for that.
I just like
Yeah,
making
no.
shit up. It's fun.
Dogs will do that. My sister's dog once ate a part of her new sofa. She also ate 9 dozen Christmas cookies without getting sick. We still don't know how.
Who's a cat?
Dog.
A dog? Eh.
Was
Yeah,
a
but it was
mutt
9
or
dozen.
some sort of-
9
like-
dozen? Oh, Jesus.
I mean, that dog had a long life too, but 9. It was the type of dog you had to constantly look at what it was doing because if you turned your back, it would get into something.
A biscuit bitch.
And it had the
So-
height to get into a lot of stuff.
I was about to be mean and say so poorly trained. Sorry.
It was an American foxhound. They have the temperament of a beagle. And the height.
Oh
was
yeah,
like
you can't control a beagle either. They follow their nose and that's it. You can't catch them.
Yeah, you just had to keep it constantly. If you didn't keep it constantly in view, things might disappear, like my brother-in-law's steaks.
Okay. Can dig that. I must be part dog. Why? Because you can eat a lot, or you've consumed a shoe and been okay? I'm confused.
I think
Assume the
humans can.
sofa had been okay. Or recliner.
I didn't even see what Amber. I didn't even see what Ember was doing, and I looked down and was like, "Wow, those are bright."
Yeah.
No, it looks cool though.
But
I just didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, I'm working on earrings now. It's the first
I
time I've changed my earrings, and this is difficult.
I still can't
Oh,
master the hang of getting earrings, and my sister keeps giving me some really nice like dolphin earrings each year, and I can't put them in.
Hey, Ember, go get a little bit of olive oil or something and dab it on your ear so it slides in easier and there's no friction. Oh, you got it in? Okay.
That side, yes. Now I got to do the other.
Well, it's
I
just a
don't
good
even know
idea
how
if
to
they're
take these
still
freaking
healing.
things off easily.
So
Let's see if I can find a tutorial on how to do earrings.
I'm sure you can find plenty of tutorials. That's the nice thing about the internet.
Yes.
You could probably find
Yes.
a DeLorean. I'm sure you could even find a tutorial on how to get a DeLorean to 88 miles per hour.
Yes.
What are they called?
Yeah, they have a great like visual, like a video tutorial. They actually made it. They included it as part of a particular movie as well. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Okay, hold on. See if I can get a picture of this animal up here. I want to see if Marty's ever seen one of these dogs.
Otherwise, they get anxiety.
Bloody hell.
Marty, you ever seen a Lindenberger? Oh,
That
come
sounds like a
on.
cheese.
Quit doing that. It almost does, yeah. They're great dogs, but they're fucking huge.
With Molly, I've been giving her food, her morning food. I just give her kibble in the morning, so I just put it all in a treat ball, and then she has to roll it around the house to get the food out. And then in the afternoon, I took the cupcake tray I got from the dollar store, and I just put a little bit of kibble in each thing, and cover it up with some of her balls and toys. So she has to dig through it to get the food out.
This is Leon Burger. That's it. I said it wrong.
Uh-huh.
These are Leon Burgers. See that little kid? They're big dogs. Like
Six-month-old Leon Burger. Fucking hell.
They get big, and they are working dogs. They were originally bred, I believe, by the Germans to help in the fields. And so they would put a harness on them and tie a cart to them, and they would pull around these little carts, and they would put vegetables and stuff in them, and then they'd take them over. Well, they liked it, and they bred them to do that. So now if you have one of these dogs, somebody got one and said the dog was like anxious all the time, blah, blah, blah. So he went into a blog post thing about these kind of dogs, and they were like, you got to give him something to do. So he took a harness, like a leash harness for one of these dogs, and hand built it into a harness with a cart attached to it, and would just like go around and do yard work and throw the leaves and stuff in. And the dog would get excited and run him over to where he wanted him. Like the dog loved it because it was bred to do that. It's used to doing that. So yeah, working dogs, they have to have something to do.
Yeah, when I was training Molly to walk with walking in the leash, I had to do some special training specific to beagles.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, but they're really sweet, and they will just lean on you. I met one at a campground, which is the first time I'd ever even heard of the dog. And I was like, wow, that's a big dog. I said, what kind of dog is that? He said, a Leon Burger. And I said, is he friendly? He was like, oh yeah, they're all big babies. They're just the sweetest dogs in the world. And so I went to say hi to him, and the owner kind of stepped over there in front of me. He just walked up next to me and leaned on me. And I was like, oh, and he almost hurt my knee. He pushed my knee in. And he goes, oh, sit. And he told him to sit. And he sat right down. Then he leaned on me again, but he was leaning like up by my hip. It was okay. But his head was like right here. And I was just scratching his head while he was sitting down. And I'm 5'6".
So they think they're big lap dogs, huh?
Yeah, they're big lap dogs. They are. They're big, cuddly, sweet, really furry, shed horribly, have to have their own bed kind of dogs. They're big. Yeah.
No dogs should be
they're good dogs. They're great if you have a farm. You could hook them up to a wagon. And... Yeah, Jenny. Yeah, Jenny.
Excuse me. I was coughing and gagging all at once.
Sounded like you were trying to sleep.
No, I'm thinking of that, though. I only got about 3 hours last night.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Me too.
Should I ask why?
No.
Sure.
Okay, why?
Insomnia.
I actually got a good night's sleep last night.
That's okay. I got stuck on a problem for a lab. Emailed the professor, and he's like, oh, you can't do it this way. So now I have to start the whole thing over. So, since this is the Trans Day of Visibility, does that mean this is the one day a year 5 out of 6 people, well, at least 4 out of 6 people on the panel can be seen? Okay.
Yes.
Because we're invisible the rest of the year?
I am invisible.
Yeah. I was going to use today I was originally planning on using today to come out to my dad, but
Oh,
I'm still not able to. It's hard.
Mm.
That's fair.
Oh.
Hi, Marty.
Like
Hi.
I before joining this
Hi,
call
sweetheart.
today,
Hi.
I went out to the living room to see my parents, and I just on YouTube, my dad's just watching this hateful sermon, this like anti-gay
Oh.
sermon. I'm just like, fucking hell. I can't just say like, hey, Dad, we need to talk.
That sounds like a
Not-
perfect
not
time to bring it up.
For real. You're like,
Oh.
about
Like,
your friend,
ironically,
though.
I think it'd be easier to come out to him and say I'm bisexual, but like, I don't.
Okay. Sabrina, I can tell you're not Pennsylvania Dutch because holiday dinners are the best time to get into drag down arguments.
Hey, sorry, what? What is the best time?
Holiday dinners are the best time to bring up politics.
Yeah.
In religion.
Yeah.
Yes, always talk politics and religion.
And any other sensitive topic. It's not a real holiday dinner unless someone's not talking to another person for the next year.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to like really piss off the family and get them to leave you alone, so you don't have to deal with the anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ shit for at least a year.
Oh my
So-
god,
Or do like me, I just disown them.
dude! We have at my work. We do like dog boarding and daycare and grooming and stuff. But we also have some rescue dogs. We used to do rescue was big for like, the last past 8 years, but it's kind of fell off a little bit. So my boss took in this little dog, little Shih Tzu dog, and this lady comes in looking for a small dog, and we said, yeah, I got this dog, super cute, blah blah blah, Shih Tzu. So my boss, who's a right wing conservative who thinks Trump was divinely ordained, he was picked by.
What got?
Wow.
Sorry. Continue.
And then this lady who was one of the most hateful people I've ever heard in my life was sitting there talking for like 20 minutes about how much they hate Democrats and how much they hate Biden. And then the lady goes into like blah, 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 all this LGBT crap. And my boss is pretty liberal. Half the staff is LGBT. So she's like, hey, whatever you do in your bedroom doesn't affect your job. So she doesn't think like that. And like when that lady said that, I like kind of stood up from the front desk a little bit, and my boss and I made eye contact, and I was like, I'm gonna keep typing here.
Your boss is like, don't, Marty, don't.
Don't fucking say it.
Well, here's
We're
what
trying to
you-
get this dog adopted. That's all that matters. The dog goes to a good home.
It's
Well,
$250.
Here's what you do. You next time you have a dinner with your dad, you just get an outfit like what Ember's wearing, and you show up in that, and just sit down. Don't say a word.
Yeah. That'll get him.
Just be like,
I didn't come out
hello.
bisexual until I was 30. And I didn't even come out like sit down, mom, dad, I'm bisexual. I came out over now who remembers MySpace?
I remember Tom.
Yes, everybody was friends with Tom. But, yeah,
I
Tom-
registered on it. I never used it, but
Yeah, I used the shit out of MySpace. I came out on MySpace when I was 30. So
it's still around, isn't
Hell,
it?
it's for more musicians and like up and coming, like it's like SoundCloud, like those SoundCloud rappers. It's like that. It's like how musicians, get their thing out and get fans.
No.
I'll have you guys know that I had met a friend online in just like a big like LGBTQ plus chat thing back when you typed everything, right? And she went on to MySpace and dug through there, and in I switched the numbers, excuse me. In 9 hours, she did what I couldn't do in 14 years. She found my child.
Whoa.
So
Nice.
I loved MySpace. Yep, 9 hours she found
Yeah, you can
him
type
now.
out your MySpace.
Her at the
MySpace.
time.
You can't do that with Facebook. You can't put like a song on or like make it all like sparkly on the back. That was like you were the shit. You were like the coding master when you're tricking out your MySpace page.
Yeah, that's why
I
never
couldn't
really
do any of
got
that
into
shit. I
MySpace
uploaded
because
pictures, and
I
that
did
was
it all like on regular websites.
Well, fine, Ember. Some of us don't speak computer.
It's HTML5 is so freaking easy.
I had a coding class when I was in art school for video game design, and the only reason I passed it was because I had another student doing my assignments for me. because it might as well have been in Chinese characters. I had no idea what any of this was saying. I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what it does, but I need to pass this class. So
That's how I feel about half of life. I don't know what this means or what this does.
I just need to pass this class.
That's how my dad passed Spanish.
Why do I have to feel?
Spanish was easy. South America. If I ever needed help, I just asked them. But I didn't need help. I need Spanish for 3 years straight.
Why do I have the feeling I should be quiet about how easy programming is, especially for an introductory level course?
Yeah, my dad knew like a dozen different programming languages, but couldn't get Spanish.
Well, Spanish is not a programming language.
Hi, Maya.
It could be though.
No, natural. They have been trying to get natural language programming for a long time. There's just way too many nuances of natural language. Natural language is for natural programming language to work.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do it in like natural language, but well, there's a couple different ways I could think of to approach it. One of them would be to use something like an upgraded version of ChatGPT as an interface. You tell ChatGPT what you want, and then you can actually write programs this way already, and sometimes
most
they
of them
even
don't work.
Sometimes they work.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly what Ember just said.
Yeah, the ones that work are
there's
like
a video on YouTube
having that turtle
of a
walk
guy.
across the screen.
Yeah, there's a dude who recreated Flappy Bird by making ChatGPT write sections of program, but often they didn't work at all, and he'd have to like get more specific and redo it.
Yeah.
But he did get it done eventually.
I think a lot of people no need to go into that, but yes, you can get ChatGPT and Google Gemini to write programs. They're usually terrible programs. A lot of companies are banning that just because they're stealing data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably doing what, we all did back in the day and just copying, pasting from existing sources.
Who's stealing data?
Yes, please, Maya. Please, Maya.
I was going to ask if one of us wanted to go get Blessed Be He, but
I was literally just
please.
saying, where is my girlfriend?
Don't say that name one more time.
I didn't say.
When you say a name on stream, it sets off an alarm.
Listen,
I seriously have been so nice, and I'm losing my patience with that.
Probably doing Easter stuff.
Listen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's probably doing Easter stuff. Look at Beck. He's like, score.
I'm pretty sure my Titan Uranus sun will
crap.
work eventually.
Yeah, it's Easter Sunday. Blessed be He is still in church.
How do you know?
Just a good guess.
You're
I
fine,
think.
Miss Maya. I mean,
Does
you're
Blessed
fine, Miss Maya.
actually go to church?
I don't know.
Beetlejuice, Cosmic File says.
Well, they are making a new Beetlejuice.
I would rather Beetlejuice appear in my chat. That
That's
would at
right,
least be
they
an
are.
interesting conversation.
Beetlejuice. And speaking of that, has anybody seen the new Ghostbusters? And tell me how it is, because Rotten Tomatoes hated it, but some people said it was good.
I'm planning to see
Go
it.
see it yourself and find out.
Yeah, I would say go watch it
I'm
yourself. From what
I'm
I've heard
expecting
from people, it's like it's fine.
Yeah,
It's a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, I'm expecting middle of the road.
What are you doing there, Ember?
I watched
What do you
last
mean?
night. I watched a fairly
Never mind.
recent 3.5 hour
She's doing.
3.5 hour film last night. Beck, you can't answer this. What film was
Okay.
it?
3.5
3.5 hour
hours.
film last night. Ben-Hur.
No.
That's 3.5 hours. I think the extended editions are 3.5 hours. Either that or like Gandhi or something.
Ben-Hur's pretty long.
Stop
The
thinking
2 hours.
Cloud
religion,
Atlas.
folks.
Cloud Atlas
Just
is 3.5.
forget religion. It is not religion. Nothing to do with religion. Never would be about religion.
The Godfather.
No, Titanic's only 2.5 hours. Yeah, it could
really?
be like the Two Towers or something.
Yeah, it's not real recent. Something very recent.
Dune.
No.
Is doing 3.5 hours?
Depends on which version.
Oh.
You're safe, Jenny. I'm high. I forgot what you told me.
Oh, okay. we'll
I can't think of
spill
it.
the beans. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour film. Oh my
That's
God!
it.
That's not a movie.
Yes, it is.
Sorry,
It was-
no, that's a
it was-
concert.
Just
Not a movie.
wonderful. If you're a Swiftie, it is absolute must see.
That's what I was watching last
If-
night, Mikhail.
Hell yeah.
I've been single for 3 years, so you know.
Well, you know my number, Marty. No, I'm just kidding. I know. I'm way too old for you. I'm just kidding.
No, you're good. You live like out on Mars, don't you? Where the hell do you live?
New Mexico.
Oh, I'm in Georgia. Fucking
I'm sorry.
red state. Exactly.
You'd have to come
Actually,
visit me
there's-
because I won't go to Georgia. When I go to visit my family in Florida, I fly, so I don't have to drive through Georgia.
You're not missing fuck of a lot.
No, I know. I was a truck driver. I've been all over Georgia.
Yeah.
I've been all across the line to Talladega, picking up freaking master brand cabinets and rugs, and I've done all kinds. I've ran around that area a lot.
Yeah. I miss Jersey so bad. If I was able to afford to go back home to Jersey and live in Asbury, I would. But it's expensive.
So the Taylor Swift, if the Era Tour isn't 3.5 hours long, it's 2 hours and 49 minutes.
No, it was 3.5 hours. It was an added section, an added stuff version.
Georgia's like 4
Like
days.
Taylor's
like
version, as it's
documentary
called.
stuff. Yeah.
An extended version, huh?
hmm They added like 3 or 4 different pieces, maybe 5.
This one first.
Yeah, exactly, Jason. Yeah.
I've been all through Atlanta, Georgia, and that area, and on the East Coast, up and down 95, that whole area. Not the center of Georgia,
right.
but there's not much center to Georgia left when you count Atlanta and then the highway.
Savannah.
There's not much in the middle. But you don't want to go into the middle because I've been in the middle, and I'm glad they thought I was a guy. Just put it
In the
that
middle of the city.
I always knew when I
no,
went
in the middle of
into-
nowhere.
Oh.
when
Like
when we
driving
go-
down roads that had like red clay roads that butted up to it.
Oh wow.
And it was the
That's-
only thing paved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when going on trips, I always knew when we entered Georgia because the amount of roadkill on the side of the road would always go up.
Yeah, exactly, Jason.
Oh,
Atlanta and
they
Savannah.
don't eat their own roadkill.
Yeah, there's always lots of roadkill on the side of the road in Georgia. Every time we go through there.
Savannah's nice.
I Mark am currently an administrative assistant at a physical therapy place, not a big chain, single place. She used to have 2 locations. She shut down one and went down to 1, and she's about to move into a really big space and hire some more physical therapists, but she owns the company herself. It was owned by 2 physical therapists before, and she started working for them, and then when they retired, she bought the business off of them, and she's had it for years. And yeah, just some single white lady who's been through some hell in her life.
Beck,
pretty-
I
she's
am
pretty cool.
literally falling asleep here.
Well, get out of here then, lady.
Yeah, I'm gonna go nap for a bit, and if I wake up and you're still here, I'll come back in.
Okay, well, we'll be here till 6 your time.
Okay.
No, 7.
It is
10.
6. It is 6 my time.
I'm sorry. We will be here till 8:10 or 8 o'clock your time. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, no.
You're on Central, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir. See how
we all do
sleepy I
it.
am?
It's fine. I love you.
Okay. Bye,
Jenny.
kids.
Bye.
Toodles.
See, we all do it.
Um,
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I work with 2 chicks that have been there like 6 years. They've started there together. They met at a different office. One of them got a job, brought the other one over. So they're buddies. They've known each other for like 10 years. And then the PTs are all intelligent anti-Trump people. So, which is generally what I end up working with. But it's just, see, to me, it's a matter of, with my OCD and I think autism or whatever's wrong with me, I'll find out soon, by the way. I'll update you on that in a minute.
Could be
If
both.
other people are like sloppy and leave trash around, don't do their job right, I lose my mind. They have to do their job right. That this is in your job description. Pick up this fucking trash.
Yeah.
But I can't leave the trash because in my mind, trash is a fucking safety issue, which it is when you're working in places like warehouses and stuff, like my last job. And so I would have to pick it up because I didn't want somebody to get hurt. So then I was mad that I picked it up, but I couldn't leave it there. But I was mad that I picked up behind them. Now I feel like they're bitch. You know what I mean? Like, and then I would just be mad at them. And then once I'm mad at somebody like that, there's no going back, dude.
Well,
There's-
the good
I'm
news
done.
is that having OCD and autism are not mutually exclusive. They often go together. You know what else also goes with it? ADHD.
Yay!
I know I have ADHD. I was finally diagnosed with that 2.5, almost 3 years ago. So yeah, finally.
Torturous for me, and I didn't get a diagnosis until I was 30. And I had lunch with my mom a few months ago, and we were talking about stuff, how shitty my dad used to talk to me, and she goes, I'm sorry that, because he would just call me stupid and lazy right to my face, like on a regular basis. And she's like, I'm sorry that happened. She's like, we just didn't know that she goes, you have ADHD, and we just didn't know. She's like, oh, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, Marty, it was worse. They had no clue. When I was a kid, they didn't know what that wasn't a thing yet. They were still beating autistic children to try to get them in line. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I grew up. So they had no clue. I got my ass beat all the fucking time. Like, I was always getting spanked just because my mind was crazy. And my brothers would beat me up, and then my mom would spank me. I was like getting beat. I think I got beaten up or spanked every day of my childhood until I was like 16, and my brother left for the Navy finally. And when he left, Richard stopped pulling that shit. Damn. So yeah, I was about 15, 16 years old when it finally stopped.
Damn.
Sounds
yeah,
like
my dad stopped spanking me when I got to junior.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a rough family life.
Fun,
ADHD
right?
isn't on the spectrum, but it is neurodivergence.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she talked to me for 2 seconds. She literally
ADHD. There are lots of ADHD and autistic traits that overlap. There is I don't know if you want to call it a gray area, but there's a gray area with ADHD and autism. And I sometimes wonder if the doctor that diagnosed me incorrectly and diagnosed me ADHD, because I can look at people in the eye and have contact. I don't have that issue with I'm actually like, I'll get in your face when I get angry. So I'm not I'm not that kind of, but the other shit that's autistic, I have all the rest of it. But that part I don't have. But I think the only reason I don't have it is because my mom taught me all the time growing up, you better look somebody in the eye when you're talking to them. So I was forced to do it, whether I liked it or not.
You learned
exactly what I think.
You had to learn the behavior manually.
Yes, and I've only recently, in the last year and a half, stood up for myself. Last 2 years. Finally started standing up for myself at 50.
By the way, Beck, one thing to note regarding ADHD and autism. So they're mutually exclusive, and you can have both of them. But in the past, there was a point where an ADHD diagnosis and an autism diagnosis were mutually exclusive. You could not be diagnosed with both. You could have both because that's the reality, but you could not be diagnosed with both. And so, because they had our understanding of both conditions, the one thing they share the most is their developmental disorders. But anyway, we've learned so much more about these conditions. We've learned that they can present simultaneously, and while there's overlap as far as similarities, there's also some significant differences between the two. And also, as a consequence, there's some unique qualities that people only have when you have both, which is sort of a consequence of the differences of the two conditions. So with autism having the sort of social depression, not depression as in low mood, but like diminishment. So the social issues.
Right.
But with ADHD, especially the more impulsive side of things, you can be very like talkative and gregarious. So those two presentations would be contrary to each other, because you'd have a purely autistic kid who might be super quiet and reserved and never talk to anyone, or just doesn't, or is just nonverbal altogether. And then you have someone with
Right.
ADHD who won't shut up. With somebody who has ADHD or autism and ADHD, they still have the social awkwardness, but they also have the impulsivity, and so they're talking a lot, but they're not actually properly engaging socially, or that is one way it can work out for somebody. So in that circumstance, while they're actually struggling with the autism as well, it is almost masked by the ADHD, which is actually how it worked with me. Anyway,
That's what I was gonna say. You just described my childhood. So this is what I would do. So I talked to my different brothers and sisters, like, "Hey, when I was a kid, did I do this?" And they were like, "No, yeah, no, 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 no." And I was like, "Did I talk all the time?" And they were like, "No, you only spoke when you had something to say, but when you went to say it, you would say all of it." So it feels like I have a combination of the two. You know what I mean? Like I would have those periods where I wouldn't say anything. I never told on my brothers for beating me up. I
Yeah, that
thought it
could
was
happen.
normal. You know, so I just went along with it. I would curl up in a ball and they would beat me up. Like that's how my life was. So I never spoke up about it. I never defended myself, you know. But on the flip side of that, when I did start talking, when I said something, I would like and mom would go, "Okay, Beck, slow down. You're babbling. Slow down. Get to where you're talking. What are you trying to talk about?" You know, because I would go off on a tangent because of ADHD.
Yeah, once that train
So,
starts going, that track is
Yeah.
real long when you start talking about something.
Like I literally have to rest up all weekend to be this hey with everybody
So
because I just worked all week and I'm exhausted from being around people. So I hide on Saturday and Sunday morning, and then I interact with you guys, and I hide Sunday night, and I go do it again.
it
I don't
sounds
So
like
this,
People much. It's mostly for the dogs, but I do have to talk to people sometimes. But fuck the people. I don't give a fuck.
it sounds like
Yeah,
you had a
well-
rough childhood. And
Yeah.
honestly, your brother's trying to be mean to you is normal, but you still need to tell your parents. Older siblings are terrible, terrible people.
absolutely.
no, we're
Yeah,
not.
well,
Not all of us anyway.
I just got rid of them out of my life. I don't have to deal with them anymore. I feel so much better. I have so much I'm lighter. That's the only way I can
So-
describe it.
Which one of those two would give you the amazing snarky superpower?
Touche, Maya. Oh, I know I'm an introvert, and it gets worse every year. I become more introverted every year.
I am an omnivert.
See, I find
And blah blah blah. And other times I can also be like, I don't want to talk to people because people are you people, and I don't like people.
I
So
find that
I put on such a good persona and mask when I'm in public, you know, like somebody sees me, I'm like, "Hey, how are you? How's your day?" Or, "Man, it's beautiful out, isn't it?" You know, and I'm just people are like, "Oh man, he's just such a nice guy," and I'm like, "Please don't stop and talk to me. Just keep moving." That's what I'm thinking. You know, but I put on, and I think that's from all the customer service and working retail I worked at one drugstore for 12 years. It was 8.5 years at one drugstore with that company. I moved around a couple, and then when I got to the third one, I stayed there for 8.5 years. And I always had to have that smile on my face because of customer service. And my boss was really, really hard on us. So again, I feel like it's a learned thing and not a learned trait, like Sabrina was saying, not something that is normal for me. It doesn't feel normal to me.
there's one thing I think that often gets overlooked in a lot of the online discussions, especially in gamer communities, or at least the way they used to be, is a lot of the people in these communities are autistic, and the social rules there were developed by autistic people. And I don't think anyone's ever studied that to see it's like, how did these rules develop?
Interesting enough, people who are autistic tend to socialize pretty well with other people who are autistic.
Yeah, that's because I have a friend. We talk about computer stuff a lot. It's like, because we both have computer science degrees at this point, but it's like get along great with her because occasionally she'll off on some tangent. I'm like, okay, I stopped listening like 10 minutes ago.
In fact, you should come on to Purple's channel this Wednesday. Hey, we're probably planning on something
I
to do with
work-
autism.
I
Oh, you
work
can't?
every
Oh,
day
not this morning.
from somewhere between 9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 3, 10 to 3, 10 to 5. But I work when you guys are on. Yeah. I sent Purple a message on Twitter and said, I'm sorry I haven't been showing up, but I'm working. So I don't have any cool shift where I can pop in at the end or anything. But it's kind of nice, honestly, because getting up like that late for me and going in at 9 or 10 o'clock, and it's only a 17-minute drive for me, is just, oh my God, it's so nice.
Well, watch on the replay. It should be a good one.
I would have been in this week, except for some reason, even though I had offered my job this week, the organizations I belong to at the university decided to have a busy week for Women's History Month the last week. It's like, okay.
I can go either way. Like yesterday I was at Walmart because I didn't know if it was going to be open today for Easter, so I wanted to go straight after work and get what I needed to get. And a guy in front of me, I was like, "Oh, you can go ahead of me," because he only had one thing, and he's like, "Oh, all right, thanks." And he had a Detroit Red Wings T-shirt on, and I'm like, "You're a Red Wings fan?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "We can't be friends no more. I'm a New Jersey Devils fan." So I just start up a conversation with, like, I can kind of do that, but I can also be like, I don't want to talk to none of you people, so I'm just gonna cash out and go. It really depends. Sometimes I can have a conversation with a rando, and sometimes I, just don't feel like it. But at parties, I'll do the same thing. Like I'll float a little bit. I'm like, and then once, like, I'll have the energy to go, like, oh, talk to this person, talk to that person, and then once I did all of that, I get real quiet because I ran out of spell slots. Like. So I can do either way. But yeah, I used to get in trouble constantly because of my ADHD, because of my grades and my behavior. And for some reason, my parents didn't catch on to every single time I had a parent-teacher conference, they all said the same thing about, like, my focus and concentration, and I don't focus, I can't concentrate, and I don't sit still, and I talk too much, and blah, 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 blah. Literally every teacher said that, and my parents didn't catch on to anything. I'm like, I told my mom that during that lunch, I was like, if it was one teacher that said that, okay, fine, then that's me screwing off. But when it's every single teacher since kindergarten till senior year of high school, how do you not catch on to that? And she's like, you just didn't know. And I was like, okay, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I've been really like digging into my psyche lately and what I'm doing, and kind of trying to analyze after I do something, like, why did I do that, and what made me do that. And it's a lot, but I'm
like shadow
I'm starting
work.
to recognize things like triggers that I didn't realize were happening before.
Shadow work.
So
shadow work is very, very good. It's not just for pagans. It's very, very helpful.
Be careful.
Wears me out.
Well, I wouldn't call it shadow work, but introspection, but I think it's the same thing. Be careful. Introspection can be very depressing.
It is. Well, I got a phone call yesterday, and I don't know if I talked about this before or after I started, but most people weren't here, so I'm going to say it again. So I got a phone call yesterday morning. I had just getting up, and it rang, and I was like, California, I'm not answering that. Looked back at it, read the voicemail, and went, oh, shit. It's the people from the Social Security Administration. First, I thought it was a little weird because they were calling on a Saturday, right? And I was like, So I started talking to the lady, and, I gave her a couple of information. She said so, and then didn't give her anything, like full Social Security number or anything, because they don't ask for that anyways. If they do, they're full of shit.
Yes.
So did that part, and then she goes, okay, well, I'm going to send over for a new update for your medical records over to Presbyterian. And I was like, okay, cool, go ahead. And she was like, okay, cool. So she sends for it, and we're talking. Like 10 minutes later, she goes, oh, they sent it back already. Great. So she's looking through it, and I'm telling her what's going on and everything, and kind of describing to her some of the problems I've been having, and how, like, I want to work, but it's frustrating for me because I get triggered, I blow my top, I've tried other medications, I just get worse. So I just said, I just don't know what to do at this point. Like, I'm afraid to try anything, because if you try a new medication anyways, you're out for 2 months. I couldn't go to work for 2 months switching to medication, at least a month and a half. There's no way I could go to work.
Yeah.
So I would just lose my job in 2 seconds. So what's the fucking point, right? And I said to her, it's very frustrating because I scrimp and I save up money, and I'm like feeling good about myself and my life, and then something triggers me and I blow my top and I yell and cuss and I lose my job, and then I have to live off that money for whatever amount of time, right? And I said, I need to get diagnosed, but I can't get in with a psychologist. We had 2 years ago, there was 10 doctors that retired in Santa Fe. They all said COVID. They were like, it's time to retire. Fuck this shit. And they left. And that was just general practitioners. There was also psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. They just all said, fuck it, I'm retiring now. They were all in their 60s and they left. So it's really hard to get in around here. So she said, how about I set you up with a state mental evaluation? What do you think of that? And I said, would you please? She goes, now you won't get prescribed or anything. No, I said, no. I just want to know what's wrong with me. That's what I want. And I go from not being able to get in anywhere to not having insurance because I lost my job. And then I get insurance back and I'm waiting for that, time to hit. I got to wait 6 or 8 months to get in. And then I lose my job again in 3 months and I don't have insurance when it shows up and I got to push it back again. I just can never make it happen. And every dime I spend in between jobs living. I mean, every dime I save. So I said, I'm just how many jobs should I have before I give up? 75?
42.
I'm pretty sure I have 71 right now.
Yeah, you should have given up at 42.
Somewhere between 68 and 72. So, how many times should I do this? I mean, I can't even count. Could you imagine? I usually put in over 200 applications between every job, at least minimum, sometimes 500.
Damn.
There are some conditions that takes a long time to get diagnosed. I didn't even know I had hypomobile until I was 38.
But the thing is if the state evaluates me, they can go recommend I see this person and get evaluated for that or whatever. And then I don't have to fucking pay for anything. And I don't have to worry about, if they want me to pay a little bit towards it, I can. But the insurance through my job right now is $600 a month.
Oh my God.
Pull that out of my ass.
Dude, that's crazy. I paid $34.
Yeah, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50, one of those co-insurance things. And which means, you know what? And by the way, the girl that works there said, it sucks. Don't get it.
Do you
She
qualify
said, I hate
for
my fucking insurance.
healthcare marketplace? Do you qualify for that?
Yeah, I mean,
if you do,
I've looked before. I would qualify for it because I never make a lot of money because I lose jobs all the time. So at the end of the year, you look and you're like, oh, it looks like you worked at. Nope, not even a cashier at McDonald's.
So while Becca's
anyway, so I'm going to end with that whole thing. The whole thing, let me end with this, is I'm hoping that this comes out good. They're going to contact me back about where to go to do the mental evaluation. And they said, do you want to do it over the phone or what? And I said, no, I want to do it in person. I want them to get a feel for who I am while they sit there and interview me for this shit. I'm not doing anything over the phone. Nope. So I said, I think that's bullshit. A psychiatrist doesn't just listen to what somebody says. It's also them. You know what I mean? It's not just about what comes out of their mouth. It's what doesn't come out of their mouth most of the time.
I have a question. Is Ember chewing on a bubblegum cigarette from the past, or is that a vape pen?
No, I'm not chewing on it. It's my last remaining vape. The batteries keep dying on me. I'm trying to be off of it before the last one dies, but this is the last one. It's a race.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, it's really windy here, and I think it's wiggling cords outside. I mean, it's really, we have 45 mile per hour gusts right now, and it's sustaining at 30, 35. So it's shaking everything outside.
But that really shouldn't affect it. Is it possible, I know somewhere over in Illinois, sometimes my internet goes out just because they use some sort of satellite dishes to relay signals farther for some bizarre reason.
No,
they don't have to.
We don't have. We actually have. We actually have radio internet. We don't have satellite internet.
Oh, well, okay, yes. Radio
So it
internet's good
goes
here.
directly to the place where they broadcast the signal from. Like kind of like your cell phone pings off the tower, kind of like that. But it just goes straight to that, and they send us a signal back. It's radio internet, and it works great, and it's way better. I used to get kicked off my own streams. If you ask anybody that's hung out with me for a while, you guys remember. I used to get kicked off my own streams because my internet would go out all the time. So this is literally 3 times better than what I had with the satellite, and she had before, my landlord. So
I mean, I've been wanting to switch to fiber optics, but the company that runs it is one I don't trust.
I mean, I don't know. That wind could be wiggling the freaking radio antenna on the roof. I don't know. It's really kicking. Like my canvas over top of my house is really torn up. I'm probably gonna have to replace it this summer.
Jason, it wouldn't affect the signal unless like something is happening to the wires inside. But radio is a different thing, and I don't know.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, ham radio operators have been sending like data signals over ham radio for a while.
That's neat.
Actually, radio internet's been around for a while. It's pretty quick. I don't know if I think it's faster than DSL.
Oh yeah, no, it's super fast. We lived way out in the country where you couldn't even get a good cell phone signal. And my landlords, I lived out there for about a year, and my landlords bought radio internet. That's how I found out about it. I didn't even know it existed. And they put in this one little plastic satellite this big, and I just attached it for them on the side of their house off of their main deck post, right, for their balcony. And it was set up in literally like 5 or 6 minutes, including drilling the holes into the wood for the fucking screws. And he plugged it in, and the internet was amazing. And he fed their house, me, and the parents' house off of that. And the only time mine lagged was when they were streaming something live on like YouTube or something on the TV.
But I think
it was the only time it lagged on us.
But I think much like the wireless or your cell phone, the farther you get away from the tower, the weaker the signal is, and you don't necessarily get as good connection.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But they have it placed so well out here that it's really hard not to, to have any interference with it. We have these high peaks because, I'm in the high desert and we have mountains and shit. And they put shit up on the high peaks, and then and the whole city of Santa Fe's in a basin. So you can't fuck it up. You know what I mean? It's above everything. Yeah. Yeah, Jason, I used to use Boost. I currently use T-Mobile's version of that, and I pay $50 a month, which I think is pretty much what Boost is at anyways. And I have unlimited everything. Yeah.
I have Cricket, and I love it. I haven't had any issues with Cricket at all for like the past 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've decided from now on I'm just going to try to I don't know. What I usually end up doing is I go to one of the places that does a contract. I get the phone. I pay it off as quick as I can. And then when the contract's up and the phone's paid off, then I just take the phone somewhere else and use it like through Boost or T-Mobile or something. That's usually what I do until it gets out of date. Like in about a year, I'll have to ditch this phone because that's the same thing I did with this one. So it's 3 years old now.
Yeah, but phones don't really get that out of date. The ARM chips aren't getting that much better. They're not going to get that much faster.
That's why I've been doing it like that. Because before you had to update them every year and a half.
Yeah,
you just had to.
It's a marketing thing.
If you wanted all the bells and whistles that had just came out, you had to do it. Now all these phones, they all have good cameras. They all have good this, good that. Screens are better, blah blah blah. Now they're playing with fold ones and everything because they got not like you're saying they're not improving anything else right now. So they got to play with the style of the phone now. That's where they're at.
I'm not that impressed with those fold ones.
There's a limit to what they can do with the ARM chips because the phones will overheat if they do too much. The ARM chips also save power. Also, your phone doesn't need to be your desktop.
Fun fact, Jason. Some of my lesser games like Sim 4, I could probably play while I'm on here. I turn I turn on Discord and I just will buffer on here. I've tried to turn on Discord one time while I was live, and it just consumed every fucking bit of my internet.
I love The Sims. I'm playing The Sims right now. I'm doing the Not So Berry challenge. I love The Sims.
Yeah, it's no Fallout.
I can't play first person. I get dizzy and sick.
Use the V option
lose-
for that.
Can you give me the proper word for that so I know what you mean? Thanks.
The what?
Fall off the back of a truck.
Genocide.
You
Okay.
You misspelled Elon Musk. That's funny. Often buying something phone is cheaper. I don't know what that means. I know it is cheaper at the end of the day if you pay cash for the phones. It will save you because they do charge you interest. It's like, paying off a car. They're going to charge you interest for paying on it.
Yeah,
so
they were.
you can either pay $1,000 total for the phone through a contract, or you can pay it outright and probably pay $750 or something. So I know it can save you a lot of money.
Yeah, in context, I'm guessing it meant buy a used phone is cheaper.
Well, for most of what you do, you don't even need like an iPhone or Samsung. Like a cheap Walmart $30 phone will work.
Yeah, see, I'm getting to the point where I really don't care about my phone much. I don't do things on it like I used to. I do pretty much everything here because when I'm not here, I'm working. And when I'm not working, I'm here. So I really don't mind if my phone gets outdated anyways. Like, I just don't care. I have a really good camera on it. It runs fine. I don't have any problems with the battery because I put it on one of those wireless chargers. And this is the first iPhone I've had, by the way, that I got to a 3-year mark and the fucking battery didn't shit out on me.
Hey.
So I don't plug them in anymore. I put them on wireless chargers. I swear to God, my battery still at 3 years lasts like all fucking day. Like, I wake up in the morning at 9, and then when I go to bed at like 11 p.m., my battery will finally get low.
Beck, I'm not going to say what you're saying isn't true, but I'm going to tell you the EU has been on Apple's case about a lot of stuff, and that was one of the things they forced the Apple to change.
What?
That's how they get you.
The battery life.
The battery life. Yeah, no, and
battery.
But when I was reading about, not anything deep because I have ADHD, I don't read anything deep, but skimming over topics about wireless versus plug-in charging, and they say the wireless is better for your battery, and I'm believing it now. I'm believing it now because this phone is like, I want to say it's almost 3.5 years old, and I usually can't get them to last past 2.5, maybe 3.
Lithium-ion batteries do not last forever, but Apple was deliberately making them worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Every time it comes out, a new phone every 2 minutes drops, and you have to buy a phone.
Yeah, my iPhone, I had an iPhone 8, I believe. That one had a horrible fucking battery on it. The iPhone 10 shit out of me because the battery wouldn't charge. It just wouldn't charge. You could put it on the charger, the phone still wouldn't work. And I was like, what kind of, how can you not just, why? I have it plugged in. How does this not work? So that cost me a lot of money. And that one only lasts not even 2 years. The iPhone 8, it only lasts like, I don't know, year and 9 months, 10 months, something like that.
I had my phone for a good minute, and it still works. Camera still works. I can still watch. I
don't know about that, Brainless. My wireless charger, it charges about the same speed, maybe a little faster. It's one of the 5.0 amp ohm, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, my ex-husband knew all that kind of stuff about specs. I would just sit on the couch and go, "Is that good?" And you go, "No, that sucks." And we flip through our phones, and he say, "Oh, well, this you can do this and this and that with that." I'm like, "Is that good?" He's like, "Yeah, that's great." And I would just be like, "All right, you pick out the phone, get a pink case, and I'm good."
Look at that. What kind of phone is it, Ollie? Tell us your secret. Well, I'll go buy a used one right now, so it'll last for 11 fucking years. A
Yeah,
refurbed one or something.
I'm sure some of the Nokias I owned in the past are still working.
My last phone lasted 12 years.
My first phone ever was a Motorola.
I had
And
a razor.
it was the one that looked like a big block, and it had the buttons on it. When you pushed it, it went beep, boop, beep, beep, boop,
Oh
beep.
my god!
And it had the little black antenna that came out. So it was like this big, and then the bottom of it on the front kind of came out at an angle, and then it flattened out, and then it was kind of flat across the top, and the antenna came out of the top, which did help a little bit, but not really much at all. And it had like big ass buttons and a big ass like ear thing and big ass microphone down here. And you would put, like regular jean size pocket, you could put like a huge wallet, can of snuff, I don't know, your wife's wallet too in it. No, this thing filled your back pocket up. That's how big and bulky. And it weighed like fucking 4 pounds or some shit. It was heavy as fuck.
I had a Motorola Razor, that classic, fantastic, one of the greatest phones I've ever used in my life.
Well,
Pink Motorola Razor. I loved that damn phone until it became obsolete. So I couldn't use it anymore.
I also still have a Turbo. I may or may not use old phones for espionage. Yeah, I've always either had a Samsung or an iPhone. And honestly, over the years, I'm pretty sure I've had iPhones more. But I like Samsungs too. I feel like they're both a good product.
Yeah, my last one, actually, the one I have
can't
now is
stand
the
iPhones.
I think the one I have now is a Samsung, and the last one I had was a Samsung. And that, like I said, the last one lasted me 12 years.
Yeah. My problem is, Jason, is I'm a klutz, and I tend to accidentally throw things around. And I'm saying that because I drop it, but I'll drop something in mid-movement and it goes flying and it looks like I threw it. People are like, why are you throwing shit? I'm like, none, it slipped out of my hand. I turned around fast. What are you talking about? I move too fast sometimes.
That's the thing, though. If you're poor, you can actually afford the good quality stuff that lasts longer, which is why being poor is ironically more expensive than being rich.
Yeah, that's true.
As a poor person, I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, yeah,
have a Google
that's the
Pixel, and
point
I
is,
only got it because it was part of a deal.
that's the point is like the rich people, they buy the $15,000 washer and dryer set that has like a 50-year warranty. It's never going to fucking die. But the poor people can't afford that. So they end up getting the $3,000 set or usually not even that, the $1,000 scratch and dent set over in the corner that's going to die in about 2 years, and they have to do it again. But they never have enough money saved up to buy the expensive one that would just last a lifetime. Because it doesn't work like that. So we literally end up spending more money, which means we pay out more taxes than fucking rich people do. Like, big time.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck those guys. I mean, I don't
Well,
care. I'm
I've
happy
always
for them.
thought-
They're rich, but pay your goddamn part of your taxes.
I've always bought phones that were refurbished or, discontinued models. So I've actually never paid more than $30 for a phone.
Thank you. You mean Cat, the heavy equipment manufacturer, or Cat the feline?
Brainless. Back when first came out with Cat, the industrial machinery company, make big bulldozers and shit. They're like the ones that make those big giant trucks that they drive in and out of the mines. Those huge ones where the person's like way tiny up in the corner and the tires are like 6 or 8 feet tall. Yeah, those trucks. Cat makes those.
The mega machine. Yeah.
So the point is yes, I actually had a phone that was a military grade phone one time. It was the bomb. And I don't remember whatever happened to it. I think they got really fancy with smartphones and I really wanted one. And I traded that one in or something, sold it back or something to pay for the other one. But you're right. They do make some industrial phones.
Yeah, it probably blew up on it because it was the bomb.
I'm glad other people got that joke.
Thank you, Mark Caesar.
Hail Caesar.
But, Cat also makes like little generators and shit too. So it just depends on what you want from them.
When I discovered Daewoo made cars, because they're like little bitty home electronics like DVD
Oh, my-
players. They don't anymore.
They did it one
subject.
time. Yeah. Yeah, they did it one time. Yep,
Yeah,
Guess who
absolutely.
made the
There's
car?
a lot of Pacific Coast countries with companies, huge conglomerates that make all kinds of weird shit. Of course, I suppose we do that too, just with different stuff. Like
So-
here, the
Right.
same company makes Velveeta cheese as Marlboro cigarettes. Nothing
Oh,
to
yeah.
do with each other, you know.
Would you like to guess the make and model of my car that left me on the interstate on my birthday?
Kia?
What was it?
It was a Chevy
Ah,
Aveo.
Uh-huh.
The Chevy Aveo is not made
Oh.
by Chevy.
Well, did you know
That
by
was
Daisy.
Did you know that Subaru is actually a division of Fuji?
Really? The film
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Huh.
Subaru is an arm of Fuji's heavy industry.
Do you know Nikon has started the most successful marketing campaign among conspiracy theorists ever?
that's right.
Oh.
Flat Earthers
Sean
and
Hudson, I was not
P1000.
bashing the rich. I was just saying the people that have billions of dollars should pay their part in taxes. I don't
I'd
care
like
if the
to
rich
believe
good
that
for
that's
them.
uncontroversial.
I gave up trying for that. I know that's never going to happen in my life.
The people complaining about the
Okay.
rich right now have legitimate complaints, and there's a reason why you keep seeing, even though I don't personally approve, Facebook groups like Guillotines for a Better America.
Ooh. I like that idea.
Nah, bro, I
Is that
respect that shit. I know how hard you worked. You and I've listened to you tell people. Yeah, no, I know. No, I'm not. That was nothing towards you, bro. No, hell no. If I would have stayed in the army and not fucked that up, I could have retired 5 fucking years ago with a full pension, with a 30-year pension. So, I hear you. It's what you put into it. I don't have the stuff to put into it, and you do. So I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you can do what you want and fucking enjoy the last part of your life. Good for you. I'll be working at I'll be a Walmart greeter at 92 if I live that long.
I don't expect to live that long.
Oh, I won't. Not unless they
I will.
regenerate kidneys. If they start making kidneys out of my own tissue, then okay. Maybe I'll live.
I mean, it is getting to be the time of year when I get to go through I've already been through all of those also pleasant drills that remind you that being fatally shot can be part of your job.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, no, it's
Fun.
unfortunately, that's a lot of places. The
Yeah, but there are
schools are just
places
more.
where-
The schools are more horrible because they kill so many kids.
But there are places where if I were a police officer, yes, I would have signed up for that.
Yeah,
Let's say if I had gone in the Navy, drowning would be something I had signed up for potentially.
yeah,
Brownies?
yeah. Drowning, like the ship sinking, you're dead. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she said brownies. I was like, brownies.
Oh,
No, I
hash.
said drowning.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Go ahead with the drowning.
I have never had special brownies. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh
Unfortunately.
my god,
And I
they're
feel
so
like-
good.
Yes. I love
Maybe in my case, like
Buttery.
being exposed to unhealthy doses of radiation.
I've heard you're not supposed to stand in front of the microwave when you're cooking microwave food. Is that true?
The microwave is not ionizing radiation, but I probably wouldn't do it just because. Why?
I mean, I watched. You have to stand by popcorn. That I know.
Yeah, it's generally fine because the wavelength of the microwave is too long to get out of that little grating in the front. But if there's something wrong, then But no, it's usually fine. If it's not fine, you'll find out. It will start breaking, and yeah.
Fun fact, Majestic P. Beck. I looked up how many people have the first name of Beck, which, by the way, Majestic P. Beck is his last name. Beck is my first name. So I looked up how many people
So if
have
you
the
two
first
get
name
married,
of Beck.
You could be Beck.
And I don't think he's a twink enough for me. He'd have to be really, really a twink. Anyways,
I've never
so
seen Majestic.
just to consider it. I'm honest. That to be almost a girl, or I wouldn't fight. Anyways, the point is, I looked up how many people have the first name of Beck, and in the entire world, it's less than 2,800 people. That's interesting.
Oh,
But there's a lot of last names of Beck.
Well, that's interesting. Locations of mass shootings in schools only make up 2%.
Correct, but the problem is there's so many children in there, they kill a lot of people at once.
Yeah.
Well, it's high
And they're
profile,
killing
too.
children, which it's not good
Yeah, it's high
anyway, but it just makes it that much more.
Well, not saying
horrible.
it's good, but still.
Yeah.
Just saying by percentage of what makes how many where the locations take place.
I am surprised it's that low, but I guess those are the ones that the media really covers.
It's residences that tend to have the most at 65%.
Well,
followed
is it shootings or mass shootings?
Mass shootings, followed by
Well-
businesses at 12.
They consider it a mass shooting anytime that 4 or more people are shot.
Yeah,
but
and these
what if
people are
it's like
shooting
a-
like dozens of
Yeah.
kids at once. So yeah, it's always a
if-
mass shooting at a school.
What if it's like a redneck family reunion? Does that really count? Okay.
How many people?
No,
Let's go back
no.
on that
It's
one.
okay because either the sheriff or deputy's part of
I was
that
gonna say-
family, anyways, because they're all fucking related.
Define redneck, define family, and define reunion.
I was going to say that. That was something that I shouldn't have said. I realized
No,
as
damn
soon
it,
as I
Marty.
said it.
I'm being
Dude, I live in
Was that a
Georgia.
hit?
I've met some fucking rednecks. So living
I mean,
in Georgia.
even though, I mean, I grew up in rural Pennsylvania and would be classified as a redneck by some people, but
Did you grow up in Pennsylvania?
yes, I really hate that designation, but
But I know where that is. Yeah, I'm familiar with Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I knew a guy that lived in the smack dab almost in the middle of Pennsylvania. He lived off of I-80, only like 15 miles off the highway, right? And I-80, goes right. Well, it's kind of a little more northern, so it's not exactly in the middle, but almost in the middle of I-80. That's where he lived, and he was a mentor of mine when I was having a mentor for truck driving after truck driving school. Went into work for a company. You have to ride with a mentor for so many hours or so many days or something like that, right? You have to drive so much, whatever. So they gave me this other guy, because this other guy was fucking some psycho. But anyways, they moved me to this other guy, and I thought, this guy's cool, we get along good. He's a little weird, but whatever. He probably thinks I'm weird too. So we rode together for 2 weeks, and it was time for me to go back to the terminal to get in a truck with a co-driver, of my own. And he said, well, I'm going home. And I said, oh, well, you going to take me to the terminal first? And he goes, no, they don't pay me for fuel. And I said, excuse me? He took me to this little podunk town and dropped me outside of a Greyhound station on a Saturday afternoon. And the Greyhound station didn't open until Monday at 10 a.m.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man.
in wintertime. This
In
is in January. No.
Fuck, of
Yes. Yes, it was either the last week of January or the first week of February. I can't remember. One of those two.
yeah,
It was
Pennsylvania-
fucking cold.
I remember winter in the Northeast.
So I have a duffel bag and a backpack and another bag and a cooler, and I'm walking down the road hoping I find something, because I don't have a real cell phone yet. Back then we only had the push buttons, right? It's 2006.
Oh my god.
So beginning of 2007, sorry. Beginning of 2007. So I'm walking, I see a truck stop, and I'm like, oh, thank God. He at least got me close to a pilot. And I only had to walk like a mile and a half. Like, I'm good, right? So got to the pilot, said, hey, can I use your phone? Because my cell phone had no signal out there because it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I called the fucking dispatch and said, dude, he just dropped me off. And they were like, oh, did he? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, okay. No, it's not fucking okay. So they said, well, I got this guy coming through. He's coming across 80. He'll grab you and then shoot down 81, bring you back down to Carlisle, PA. And I was like, okay,
I know
cool.
where those are.
Yeah, I know you do. So he picks me up at the truck stop about 2.5 hours later. He's got another person in the back who also got dropped off by a mentor somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and he had to pick them up. Only he picked them up in Ohio, and he was in Chicago, so he came across and grabbed us. They gave him a load to come back to Carlisle just so he could pick us up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was the first month of my driving experience. Oh, and the first guy was trying to get down my pants, and when I told him I was gay at the time, he lied about me being a total piece of shit and never driving, and it was all lies to get me kicked off of his truck.
Ew. That's not like
He was a perpetual cheater on his wife, and he only took female passengers.
Oh, jeez.
Ew.
And he would fuck everyone he could. Oh, my wife died of cancer. No, she's at home. She survived it. I met her.
Whoops.
I ended up meeting her, and I saw them years later, and they were pulling through a parking lot, the same old fucking truck. And I was like, hey. And he stopped, and I jumped up on the side of the truck, and I said hi to his wife, and he was like, hey. And I said, I'm not talking to you, you fuck. And I said, so what's going on, sweetheart? How are you? And she goes, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much better. She goes, look, my hair's growing back. And I was like, I'm so happy for you. You look fucking great. You look like she was like 58 and she looked like she was 70. And now she looked like she was like 52. She looked good, right? And I was like, good for you. She goes, yeah. She goes, I'm riding with this bastard. Make sure he doesn't stick his dick in anything else anymore. And I said, good for you. And he goes, well, I'll see you. And I said, I'm not talking to you. And I said, bye, sweetheart. And I jumped off of his truck and I walked away.
Noise.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right,
and he
folks,
just
I
was
gotta
like,
scoot.
bye,
Later,
Ember. Have a good
Bye.
start of your stream. We'll see
Are
you
you
soon.
going live? Or...
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll be
Yep,
over
yep,
there
yep.
after this is
In
done.
like 3 minutes.
So, I have a question. Well, Amber's not here anymore. But sometime in the future, I plan on doing a live stream addressing something by Dr. Jason Lyle.
Who?
What energy drink will help me stay awake?
Energy drinks
Don't
don't
ask
even
me.
register for me. I remember taking a trip.
They just make my heart pound to make me want to take a nap. I'm good.
Oh,
I have no idea.
It didn't even register to my brain. I remember having a 5-hour energy when I was driving up to Jersey one time, and it didn't even. My brain was like, "Is this amateur hour?" Like it didn't even.
The classic Red Bull's the only one I can drink because it's the only one that doesn't have a mess of artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, I did not like the taste of the classic Red Bull.
I did last year at Dragon Con. They were giving out free energy drinks, and that made me feel like I was having a panic attack. That was before my medication. I'm like, am I having a panic attack or is this the drink? I'm gonna sit down for a minute, and I gotta be away from people just in case it's a panic attack. It was a little bit of both, but
Well, honestly, Porpoise, I think that if I were you, I would go and buy the lightest breakfast blend coffee you can get.
Yeah.
No, hold on. It has the highest amount of caffeine in it.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, coffee.
It has the highest amount of caffeine in it.
But you
Make it into a mocha, put some hot chocolate in it, make it taste better. But that'll jack you up with some sugar more than most things will, without fucking up your heart.
But were you told growing up that coffee was a tool of Satan?
No,
my mom loved coffee. I started drinking coffee at 12 years old. She'd put this much in it. That's why I have to have it like this now. She put this much in the bottom of the cup. Mom always made her coffee strong. She always made good coffee. Italian, right? So put this much in the bottom of the cup, and then she put the same amount of cream, if not more, and then a little bit of sugar. So now everybody in my family, except for one asshole who thinks he's just more of a man, but he really prefers it with the sugar and creamer and won't admit it. Everybody in our family drinks their coffee with sugar and cream. Everybody.
Yeah. No.
sugar my ice
We're
coffee.
all we can't drink it any other way.
I usually go with the hazelnut or the French vanilla cream. I add 3 ounces.
I go vanilla iced coffee, cream and sugar.
On Jur, that's why I drink decaf.
My issue was too much. My issue is too much Mormonism in the 80s.
Yeah, I like iced coffee too, Kyle.
My dad made such lousy coffee that when my brother was an over-the-road trucker, he would stop off at the truck stop to refill his thermos on the way home, so he didn't have to drink my dad's coffee.
Why do the Mormons have an issue with coffee but not Coke?
Because caffeine's a drug.
They did have an issue with Coke, but it's coffee. It's hot beverages explicitly that are prohibited in what they call the words of wisdom.
Right? Caffeine's a drug.
I don't think you heard what I just said.
Oh, I said because caffeine's a drug, and I didn't know if you. I didn't hear you.
Caffeine is a drug, but they've lightened up on caffeinated beverages.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
But
I'm an iced
hot
coffee
beverages
guy.
Well,
and
I was
coffee
asking.
specifically.
I was asking because I was listening to this one person who's a Mormon, and they're saying how they they're sustained from coffee, but and another thing they're saying, oh yeah, I've drinking a Coke before, and it's not so.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to drink even caffeinated sodas growing up, but it just depends on how strict your family is, and
Yeah, no, we were never allowed sodas or candy. Candies were special, holiday only, or mom wanted to rearrange the house and she wanted everything clean and spick and span. And we did like a 4-hour project and then we get Snickers. Like we'd bust our ass for a little fucking king size or snack size Snickers bar.
Ooh,
telling
Kyle.
you.
I've been
That's-
eating candy all day.
But as I was trying to say,
I'm
coffee
jealous I'm out
and
of my
tea
taste.
are specifically mentioned in the scripture that sets forth a Mormon dietary code.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
if you actually read it, no Mormon actually follows it because it also says you're supposed to eat meat sparingly. Well, I guess some Mormons actually follow it, but you will not
Supposed to
find
eat
very
what?
many.
You're supposed to eat what sparingly?
Meat.
Oh, meat. I thought you said wheat. Like bread. Oh, okay.
Nothing against meat.
Kyle, that's a cool idea, using hot tea in meditation or ritual. I might start doing that because I like hot tea. Good cup of Earl Grey, a bit of honey. That's the shit right there.
My boss drinks tea all day.
I
Well,
love
most
hot
of the day she's got a whole bunch of tea in there.
I drink at least 2 cups of tea during the winter because once I'm cold to like the bone, and it lasts all day. So I have to try and warm myself up somehow by drinking hot tea. So I drink tea constantly in the
I
winter.
tend to actually like my coffee cold, but my tea hot.
Yeah, iced coffee.
See, I'm opposite. I like hot coffee and I like cold tea. But in the summertime when it's hot and I want something sweet, I will get like a iced coffee frappuccino kind of thing. But it only when it's really, really hot out and I just feel like I can't cool off.
I'll drink tea at any temperature.
I'll get the frappuccinos for Saturday.
I actually don't drink anything iced unless I have to.
I can't stand anything with even
Cold.
the hint of coffee flavor.
But I don't add ice to the frappuccino. I just put it in the fridge. It's like when I buy at the store with the bottle and just put it in that fridge and take it out and drink it that way.
Can't say I don't understand that one, Purple.
Yeah, well, my fiance said that I made really good coffee. I had to take her word for it because I wouldn't taste the stuff. But I think the difference as opposed to her former roommate was I actually washed the coffee maker once a month. When I got there, it looked like that coffee maker hadn't been washed in like 5 years.
That could be it.
Jason, that is the only thing I drink that has to be ice cold. Beer, it's got to be ice fucking cold, and it's got to have like either orange or lemon or lime put in it, or I can't drink it.
Most of the alcohols I drink are usually room temperature.
Yeah, wine or liquor or like I just set my shit on the floor and it's cool, cool to the touch, but not cold. And that's fine for me. Like I'm good. I just leave it right on the floor next to my refrigerator over here. It's perfect temperature. My teeth are too sensitive. I can't handle cold shit. But I will make an exception for beer because it's the only way you can drink it.
Really, that could be a sign that you need some dental work.
Get to the dentist big time. I really do.
We know, Kyle, but thanks for letting everybody else in on it.
Listen, unfortunately, I have something where dental problems kind of go with it, which I'm done with now, thankfully. But it's like I had to have a lot of teeth removed when I was younger. Because if they didn't get removed, they wouldn't have grown in properly. And apparently my sister had it too.
Well, let me reword that. When I lost my first kidney, I went to say when I first lost my kidney. That's not how I'm going to say it. When I lost my first kidney, we thought it was like genetic or something. And then after I recovered from it and I started like thinking again and I wasn't sleeping all the time and like out of it because I would just wake up, I would eat, I'd smoke some pot, drag my ass to the bathroom, which took like a good solid 10 minutes to get there and come back and lay back down. And it was like 8 feet away from me. And by the time I would just go back to sleep. And I did that for like 2 weeks. And this was after I was off all the medication and I was just healing and sleeping. And a small amount of food I ate every day, because I would just like wake up in the morning and my ex-girlfriend at the time would be gone. There'd be like a bowl of soup. I would just eat it cold. I didn't even care. I just want to go back to bed. And I would pee and then couldn't poop for weeks because of medicine, and that was fun. And then I would just go back to bed. So I did that for a while. So when I was finally like, clear-headed again, I was like, Chandra. And she was like, what? And I said, do you remember last August when I fell on my back off that ladder and I was like 20 feet in the air? And she goes, yeah. But by that time, I was sworn off. I'm never drinking Mountain Dew, fucking soda ever again. So I, about 5 times a year, will drink a Coca-Cola. And that's about it for me. Just freaks me out. I don't ever want to go through that. Not again. Well, I can't anyways. I'd be dead. But anyways.
I used to be able to eat and drink whatever I wanted when I was in my teens and my late 20s. Once I hit like menopause and mid 30s, oh no, that catch up to me. My metabolism was like, nah.
I can still pretty much eat whatever I want.
I had all that years of fun.
Yeah. My system managed to hold on to it until I was, in my early 40s. That it didn't matter what I ate. I never got much above 140 pounds.
Yeah,
I never had that.
But yeah, I've put on 40 pounds since then.
Yeah. I rated my highest was like 125, maybe 130 when I had my period, and that was my fighting weight. And I'm like, man, I would love to get back to that. I didn't appreciate the figure I had when I had it. I wish I would have like done more.
Right.
When you look at yourself,
oh my god!
Back in the day, why didn't I think that about myself? I could have had so much more opportunities.
Oh my god, Marty! I had the best body back then. I was all muscle. My butt had like the typical amount of fat for not even for a female, but just like maybe a guy with a slightly bigger butt, But it was all compact and everything. There was no flab on me. I had a kicking ass fucking body, and I had no idea. I mean, I should have known because I got molested so many times. But the point is, yeah. Anyways, the point is I had no idea. I mean, if I would have known, I could have used it to my advantage for so many things.
Yeah.
If they were going to do that, I could have at least got like money or something out of it, or a good job or a raise, Yeah.
I could have done something. I had great legs because during the summer, I would ride around. I grew up in a trailer park, so I'd ride around. This is when Discman was out, so I put on my Discman. Sometimes either my Discman, see you later, Steel, brainless Steel, either my Discman or my Walkman, and just listen to music. Mostly because I didn't want to be around my dad in the house, so I'd ride my bike for like an hour. I had the greatest fucking legs. I look at pictures. I look at pictures of myself back then. I'm like, man. If only I had some confidence. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up kind of like that, Marty. I grew up on a farm, so we were always doing manual labor, like hoeing and weeding and moving wheelbarrows of stuff, or we dug out our own septic system drain field one time by hand, like me and my 2 brothers. Like we did that. That was fun. Anyways, so we did like hard labor. So I've always had strong shoulders and shit. Anyways. Like way more than a typical female my size would have, right? Just without even trying. And then our friends lived 1.5 miles away from us. So we'd have to go a mile down this road and then go either a half mile that way or half mile that way to get to their houses. And it was all hills and shit. It was out in the country. Yeah. We rode them like it was a dirt track because it was a dirt road. It was so much fun. And we were, oh my God, we were crazy on that thing. We rode the shit out
I'll
of
check
those.
y'all later.
Bye.
Bye,
Purple. Thank you for coming.
Pause, boy.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to cut down on what I'm eating now because I've never had that and I need to lose weight.
Don't come hang out at my house, Randy.
Even trying to do the thing where if I don't spend money on fast food, just try to incentive. I try to put it into a savings account.
I gotta slow down on my iced
Kyle.
coffee. I'm trying to save money, and I'm spending a lot of money on iced coffees. I live at the place that I work in order to save. I mean, I have over $1,800 and a 720 credit score, so that's good.
Yeah. Mine always hangs between like 680 and 720 somewhere.
I weigh 173, and I should weigh it's about the most 150. So, but my medication just makes me all I want to do is eat, sleep, and drink water. I drink water. I mean, I always drink a lot of water anyhow, but I drink water like it's gone out of style. Like,
I
but
hate
that's all I
water.
want to do is eat and sleep. And my nurse practitioner prescribes my meds. She'll be like, "How's your weight?" And I'm like, "Bitch, I'm overweight from these fucking meds. Like, my weight is the same. It's too much, but I can't stop taking the meds because then if I stop
I'm
taking,
gonna hold you to that, Jason. I'm gonna hold you to that. You better like the most beautiful part of Oregon, because that's where I'm going. I'm gonna take you with me, bro. I'm not kidding.
I've only
We'll
really
do it.
recently he started gaining weight. But it seems to be muscle weight because I'm not seeing it in my waist.
mine's all in my face and all in like the middle. Like when I was in like a real bad depression, I just stopped eating. Like I ate just enough to not fall over. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh my god, like this was the skinniest that I've ever like. I mean, I don't know how much I dropped, but I was like, oh my god, this is freaking me out. I can like see my ribs and my back. Like I need to eat something, and I got on these medications, and it's like, where's all the food at?
Yeah, the lowest I was is 90 pounds, and I was I'm around 5'10" at the time. That
Oh,
was
wow.
after my mom died. I just I was having trouble, I was stressed and I was not really eating too well. Being at my grandmother's, seeing that I couldn't get a really decent meal most of the time. And
You couldn't get a decent meal at your grandmother's?
she could not cook, and my grandfather was the one who could cook, and he had dementia.
Oh.
That sucks.
My grandmother tried to boil hamburger or patties.
Oh.
Well, I mean, my mother was a terrible cook too, so.
My mom was a pretty good cook. My biological mother's a good cook too, but my mom was a pretty good cook.
My mom was amazing. She was like, all of our food was good, and we didn't know. We'd go to other people's houses, and they would feed us, and we'd be like, "Oh, this tastes like shit," and we'd have to eat it. Why not come over here for dinner? So then people would keep inviting us, and the people we quit going to, all the other kids knew that mom, because we were all these different ages, right? Don't go to that mom's house. Her cooking sucks. Like we tell each other, don't eat over that dude's house, man. I used to hang out with his brother Brad, and his mom's cooking sucks.
Yeah, she made this meat thing, and I have like, okay, is this a pork chop or a fish? She says, oh, it's chicken.
I used to think.
Go ahead, Porpoise.
I used to think the teriyaki chicken at one of the local Chinese buffets was pork for the longest time until I found it was like, no, it's chicken.
Well, they marinate it so much you can't tell because it's not even chicken colored anymore.
Well, you hope
but
it's
chicken. Delicious.
Whatever it is, it's good. Yeah, hope it's chicken.
Well, this buffet has stayed up for a while without getting shut down by the health department, so I'm assuming it probably is chicken.
Majestic Beck, I actually knew some guys that did that when they were in their teenage years so they could get out of an abusive household away from their parents, and they like saved up money for like a junk piece of shit car, and they like lived in their car and worked at restaurants so they could get free food. Yep.
Hey,
actually a very smart idea. Very smart idea. All you have to do is make sure you're clean enough and they'll hire you. I marinate my chicken for 2 days.
Oh wow, that's gonna be good.
Man, I marinate that long. I get blue. Never mind.
Were you about to say the name of a certain town in Pennsylvania that might be 8 miles away from intercourse? And sadly, not too far.
If you look over in Western Pennsylvania, between West Virginia and Pittsburgh, there's towns across the highway right there. One's Beaver and one's Moon. Not kidding. So I'm driving down the road. We're leaving Pittsburgh Airport. Me and my brother Walt fly in, right? At this point, it's everybody knows he's gay. Everybody knows I'm a lesbian, right? So we like hanging out with each other because we're the only two gay people in the whole fucking family, right? So we get along great. He's way more autistic than I am. And he communicates strangely, and most people don't understand where he's coming from, but I do. But anyway, so we're driving down the road and we see Beaver with a sign pointed that way, and it says like 15 miles or something, some mileage, and then Moon with some mileage with an arrow pointing that way. And so no, the Moon was on my side and the Beaver was on his side. So we, at the same time we both went like this. I'm going that way. And we just looked at each other and we just died laughing. It was said in the same tone at the same time, the same everything. Like we sounded identical when we said it. It was fucking hilarious. Fucking
Beaver.
Hilarious. Beaver.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
Well, Pennsylvania does lead the nation in rodent meteorology.
Yeah, no. In Pennsylvania, not in West Virginia. Don't go down into West Virginia. It's between Pittsburgh and the West Virginia line somewhere. I don't remember where.
Yeah,
It was
so
years
why
and
go
years
to
ago.
why go to Pennsylvania light when you can go to Pennsylvania?
What do you mean?
West Virginia is Pennsylvania light.
Oh, just Morgantown. It's way more fucked up down south. No, it really is. Some serious fucking racist rednecks down there.
Have you been to parts of Pennsylvania?
Oh, yeah. Well, not as a black person. I've never experienced that. And some days I wish I could so I could understand better. And some days I'm glad I never had to. So it's a kind of a battle with me. Like, I've woke up more days wishing I was black than I have being glad I'm white. Let me put it that way.
I mean, being white, I wouldn't have countered that. But I know when I was in high school, like, every Friday night, a bunch of, like, students from my high school would get together and, like, their whole activity for Friday night was to go beat up the skinheads in Shamokin. Because the anthracite coal regions at the time, for some reason, Pennsylvania law was very accommodating to hate groups, and they congregated for whatever reason in the anthracite coal regions.
A lot. Well, that was also, from what I know and believe, that was also influenced by where drugs were allowed to be and where they were cracking down on drugs. Because there's little towns in Pennsylvania that used to be like industry, coal, or something like that kind of town, and it went to shit. And there's a lot of places like this in West Virginia too. Like it's all over the place, but it goes to shit, and then the people end up. You have a bunch of meth heads who used to be crackheads, and now meth's out, and now they're going to start dying of fentanyl-laced heroin because that's where we're at right now.
Meth is cheap and easy to make.
Yep.
Well, it is the white people's drug of choice.
It's so easy to make that we've had people make it in the retail store bathrooms before.
Listen,
Shut up, really?
as
And walk into a fucking sink that has blue all over it. Like, what the fuck is oh shit, that's like meth blue.
As someone
That's
who
like Jesse Pinkman blue.
As someone who has sinus issues, please stop making meth out of cold medication.
Yeah, I got carded. I remember one time I was real sick. I went to get, because I live on Sudafed when I'm sick. I went to get Sudafed and I got carded for it. And they were like, well, something so you don't make drugs, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but I can still be over 18, show you my ID, and still make drugs. So what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
No, it's also limited. You can only buy like a couple packs at a time.
Yes. I just need
That's why. That's the biggie.
Yes.
Getting your ID, they'd make sure you're not a habitual buyer at their store.
Yeah.
And you can only get like 2 packs at a time, and they do that on purpose because a person that's doing that would have to go to each store and get like 10 packs from every store around there to be able to make the meth he's going to make, and they know that. So they limit it. And you could come back, a week later and buy 2 more packs. They don't care, but you can't buy them all at once.
You're inconveniencing me because all I need it for is to make sure I don't cough up my lungs because of postnasal drip coming into my throat. It's like I'm not interested in making meth in the bathroom.
I think I heard something bad about the Sudafed people, and there's like some uproar about their shit not doing what it says it does, and
Really?
yeah,
the
and
new
I think it's got some kind of stimulant in it or something that's making it seem to work or some crap. I don't remember.
I'm not sure which problem you're talking about, but there is a problem that I'm aware of from pharmaceutical industry is products that would classically have a pseudoephedrine. Because of how restricted pseudoephedrine is, a lot of drug companies are using phenylphrine instead, which
Yes.
is technically the same, but the research on it indicates while its structure is the same, it doesn't do it like basically in oral use our bodies eliminate it before we can get any benefit from it. So basically you have all these products that have a decongestant in it, and it is technically a decongestant, but it doesn't work because it doesn't work in an oral dose. It just doesn't at all, but it doesn't have the same restrictions as pseudoephedrine.
The only thing that
So
the only
these
thing
drug
I've
companies
found
are making money off of this shit, but they know it doesn't work. Anyway, sorry.
the only thing I've ever found was that works for me is the Allegra, or it's called the fexofenadine.
Yeah, fexofenadine.
Oh, the
That's
over-the-counter.
the only stuff that seems to work on me.
Keep in mind, that's the antihistamine. The primary ingredient, the antihistamines that they're using are still efficacious antihistamines. We're talking generally about combination drugs, which will have either an analgesic or an antihistamine, as well as a decongestant. And while pseudoephedrine is a researched and effective decongestant, phenylphrine, which is what they're using as an alternative, while it is technically a decongestant, it has no pharmaceutical value. It just doesn't. And this is not interesting enough. This is not a problem I'm really having in Canada. While pseudoephedrine also does have some restrictions, for the most part, you're able to just have combination products with pseudoephedrine mostly okay in Canada. But the restrictions are much stronger, I believe, in the United States, and so the way to get around these limitations, because it's just too expensive for the drug. Well, it's not too expensive. It's more like they're too cheap to pay the prices to get it properly registered. They just make it with phenylphrine because they can say it contains a decongestant. What they forget to tell you is that it's worthless.
Well, the thing they've been doing
I'm sorry.
since this became a thing is they've been using they made the steroidal nasal sprays over the counter now. And those work well, but I think they probably shouldn't be over the counter.
Are you talking about Flonase?
Flonase, rhinocord was a different chemical. There are 3 chemicals that are steroidal nasal sprays, but Flonase is one of them.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I remember when that became OTC. That's an interesting one. Honestly, I'm not really getting many people using it.
Oh, they work.
Did you?
Flonase is pretty great. I used it once. It was great.
I'm pretty sure that Kentucky Atheist and Jason just had a dick measuring contest over who could pick the worst, smallest, cheapest container to make meth in. Because it started out. Wait a minute. Hold on. Where is it, Jason? He said something about, oh, you can just make meth in a 2-liter bottle. Kentucky Atheist says, oh, I've made meth many times. Oh, no, Majestic P-Back, sorry. Make a portable meth lab in a 2-liter bottle. And he says, you don't need a 2-liter bottle. 20 ounces is all you need. You don't need a bottle. A plastic bag will work.
What?
He said that's poor man's meth, though.
Kentucky Atheist, I just want to warn you as someone who lives in Indiana. You're just feeding into the ideas of some people that Indiana is better. Never understood that one personally, but probably because I'm not a native Hoosier. I think it might have been a basketball rivalry. I don't know.
I don't watch college sports, and the only sport I watch is hockey.
Now I have to pretend to care right now.
Why is there a thing? What's going on now?
one of the local teams is, well, they didn't make it into the March Madness, but they made it into the NIT. And are probably fairly close to winning it, would be my guess. But
Majestic, are you a Maple Leafs fan?
I'm sorry, did someone mention the Maple Leafs?
I don't mind the Leafs. I don't mind them.
So,
I like the Habs better though. But I'm from Jersey, so I'm a Devils fan.
well then, let me get this out here. So I'm a Torontonian. And allegedly, I have an obligation to be a fan of the Leafs. So on record, as a Torontonian, I'm going to say this. Fuck the Leafs.
Ah! Did you guys make the playoffs?
I have no fucking clue. I don't give a shit about the Leafs.
Oh.
I'd rather watch the Habs, honestly.
I'm pretty sure the Habs made the playoffs. I know the Devils aren't going to make it. We're not even going to make the wild card. We're playing like shit lately.
Yeah.
I think we're playing tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
No, don't stop, you guys. It's hilarious. It's like a run-on joke. It's fucking hilarious. Keep going. I don't care. You can't demonetize me. I'm never going to be monetized. So have fun.
Oh, we played Tuesday. We played Pittsburgh on Tuesday, and we're going to lose that. And then we have to play the Rangers again on Wednesday, and we're going to lose that. We only have like a handful of more games left before the end of the season, and then we're fucked.
I'm glad you have such confidence in the team you apparently enjoy.
Yeah, well, when we don't have a goalie, when we fired our head coach because he sucks, when we've gone through like 3 or 4 goalies already, everybody's chanting fire Lindy, and then we fire Lindy and we're still not winning, then there's a problem.
So given the do the Maple Leaves just chant "Go Leaves"?
Go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go.
Because honestly, I thought "Go Trees" was one of the stupidest rallying cries ever.
Yeah, and it's not leaves; it's Leafs.
Leafs, yeah.
Well, no, but
yeah, go Leafs, go. That's
the university I go to has is the Sycamores.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that. That's a neat name.
Well, apparently it was voted on as a joke, but because they didn't think it was going to happen. So there's a lesson there. Even if you vote someone for a joke, the vote still. Even if your vote is a joke vote still counts. So don't vote for Donald Trump just because you think he's funny.
Vote for anyone that literally anybody else.
Oh, neat.
Hear about that guy?
Oh, Majestic. Interesting.
He was a teacher. He was a teacher in Texas. So he legally changed his name to literally anybody else, so he could be on the ballot as literally anybody else.
That's funny. Oh.
Well, a lot of us would vote for literally anybody else. A lot of us would vote for a giant meteor.
That's my vote.
Yeah, I mean, we could use a restart.
Cthulhu.
Also a good choice.
Paul Atreides.
Which one? The new Timothy Chalamet or the what the hell's his name? Colin McLaughlin.
Either way, I wouldn't want the Paul Atreides it's based off of. Because he and his son both end up being mass murderers.
I don't know. I can't get into it. Dune is too sci-fi for me. I'm more Lord of the Rings.
How come nobody told me I was muted? Damn it!
You were muted?
I said,
oh.
Bye, Joe. Thanks for coming. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and you kept Jason from getting bored. So thanks.
I didn't know you were muted either.
None of us caught it, so.
Well, I knew I muted earlier, but I'm a pothead. I forgot I muted it. I mean, like, I'm an ADHD pothead. Do you think I'm going to remember that 5 minutes later?
I don't know. I don't
What's
smoke
5
pot.
minutes? I don't know this span of time. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I only use the decimalized time system that the French Revolution invented. And quickly abandoned.
Kind of wish that it did catch on.
Well, the only thing that did catch on from the French Revolution after all the reforms was the metric system.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about the French Revolution. No, ma'am. No, you can't get on Mommy's desk. Nice try.
Well, I guess that's something. People over there tend to like it. So
Going through undergrad, I took a course about gender roles after the French Revolution that I thought would be interesting. It was not. And if I ever have to read Benedict Anderson again, something I'm going to have to, I don't know, commit myself to a psych ward. Because I could not stand that guy.
that bad, huh?
Well, he's dead now.
Well,
Like, political science college professors love his book, Imagine Communities.
I see a cat in the background. In Marty's background.
There's a cat
oh
in my
yeah, she's got a
background, too.
black and white. She's got a black and white kitty that loves to sit on the back of her chair while she's streaming. He'll sit there for like an hour, or she, whatever it is.
My Torty is not on camera right now. My Torty is napping.
I'm gonna go grab my cat.
Mine
I'll
are
grab my cat in a moment.
pretty much curled up and asleep right now.
Anyone see the third episode of X-Men 97?
No, but I did see all of Has Been Hotel.
X-Men 97's been pretty decent. Apparently there was
I haven't seen either one.
Yeah, there was one little 11-second scene that's apparently people has people all upset though.
Why?
One of the character Morph, Earth being now non-binary, he walked in on Wolverine thinking it was in the shower and they had things that was like, hey.
Given how many people live in the X Mansion, it has to happen sometimes.
I need to see X-Men 97.
Then he does this joke thing where he turns his hand into Wolverine's claws. He's like, "Let me help you reach the get the hard reach spots." Apparently, this is the scene that has people all up in arms about it.
Look at that furry baby.
Oh, people will get upset over anything.
Well, I've been looking, and also they've been kind of upset about the character being retconned to being non-binary, which I've been kind of looking into the whole history of the character and all that lately. And honestly, I'm thinking might not be a bad addition to the character.
But
Everybody started freaking out about that. Like, if people don't know what the X-Men is about and they're complaining that it's woke, bitch, go back and read some X-Men. Go back and read what the fuck you think X-Men's about? For fuck's sake.
listen, there's no need to do that. Just refer to them to the scene in Deadpool 2 where Deadpool explains what the X-Men are.
Or that. Either way, I mean, come on.
Well, the argument is that it wasn't performative and disingenuous about it.
Oh, come on. It's a
Well,
comic
I'm
book.
trying-
Of course it's performative. It can't be anything else.
Like Stan Lee himself before he passed, because someone else, they were freaking out when X-Man, not the fuck, what the Iceman was, they were making him gay.
Iceman, yeah, they retconned the Iceman to being gay. I'm not so sure about that one because there's the way the history goes. Anyway, it probably would have been better if they didn't made him bi, but
Hey,
Hey. People can have sex with people and then later on go, you know what? I didn't like that. I'm gay.
Well, the thing is, there are other aspects to it. Like, for instance, they have a scene. There are scenes like where he's alone with his own thoughts, and he's still like, "Yeah, those girls are, yeah."
As one of the asexuals here, let me just remind you that sexual behavior does not equal sexual attraction.
I'm a little fuzzy on what the asexual thing means. What does that mean? Like you're just not into it, like, or
don't experience sexual attraction
is the general avian version of what it means.
Mm-hmm. Now with asexual, with a lot of things, but asexuality, there is a spectrum to it. So some people might only experience it occasionally. And within people in this category, there are some people who are like sex neutral versus some people who are sex repulsed, who are actually like disturbed by it and don't want to do it at all. But some are like just like, Yeah, I have no interest in it, but like if I'm with a partner who wants to do it, I'm fine doing that. Just like to make them happy. They basically treat it the same way as like taking your partner to like a restaurant with a food type you don't really enjoy that much. It's like it's not something I'm into, but to make my partner happy, sure, kind of thing. It's a
Right.
neutral experience for them. And like I know I'm somewhere on that spectrum. I still haven't really figured out exactly where I'm at, but it's confusing.
But yeah, the X-Men have always been a stand-in for any marginalized group.
Well,
Yeah.
not always. The very first inception.
Always.
Not always. Is in the very first inception of it. They weren't that way, but it was shortly thereafter that Stan Lee realized, hey, I can use this as a platform for that. So it wasn't like in the very immediate inception of him, but it wasn't that far into it that it was like, yeah, do it, go this way. Just a clarification.
I love the X-Men. I don't have any comic books, but I've always loved the X-Men.
Hey, I just didn't even realize Storm was black until like they started drawing her character that way in the animated series. So
Really?
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
she just
yeah.
looks.
She's
she just
African.
look-
She was African.
African
It's-
women.
My
Okay.
first exposure was the '90s series, where it's kind of hard to tell.
No, it's
she's
still pretty. Yeah, it's still
Yeah, it
pretty
was kind
clear.
of hard to tell with the TVs I had.
Oh, so it was your TV, not the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't until like
Black.
the WB and CW came out with it. It's like, oh, Storm's black. Okay, she's
Yeah.
still a cool character, but
Rules.
it's just she was drawn so weirdly. It's like it was hard to tell what she was.
She's black with blue eyes though. It's kind of an odd combination.
Look at how the art was done in the '90s show.
Yeah, I remember that fucking. I love the fucking show.
I'm not saying you might not have been able to see it. It was just I can be mistaken for thinking that she might have been white.
Honestly, I think the artwork on the '90s animated series is actually better than this '97 one.
Oh, I haven't seen '97 yet, so
I need to see X-Men '97. I was planning on doing that today and just staying in bed, but I changed my mind.
I mean,
Well, I would still recommend it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna watch it at some point.
Yeah, there's one. If you're familiar with the ending of the animated series, there's a big elephant in the room that I'm not going to get into since you haven't seen it, but it's annoying me.
I'm familiar with. I mean, it's been a minute since I saw the show in the '90s, but I know things about characters.
Well, I'd recommend watching at least the last episode of the animated series before you're getting in, because it's supposed to be like a continuation, but it's like, as far as I can tell, it's like 9 months from the last episode.
Well, it's also a shameless Disney cash grab because people really liked the '90s series.
Yeah, I am like I said, I am concerned about the quality of it going down if they do a second season, because I think a lot of the quality that we're seeing in this first season was from the showrunner that got fired.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell. Like The Simpsons really did go down after season 6 when the showrunners changed. But
Well, they had the showrunner who just got fired just before the premiere.
Right, I did read that.
Yeah,
but it's like comparing, are the old episodes of MASH or the newer episodes of MASH better? They're different in tone.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we were talking about that.
I remember when The Simpsons
very different.
On the Tracy Ullman show. I remember that show.
I will say the older episodes of MASH are funnier because it was just designed to be a slapstick comedy.
What's TAS?
The animated series.
The animated series.
Oh, Batman. BTAS. Oh my god, BTAS. I love BTAS.
Yes.
The best Batman.
The thing is, that was not a kid's show. Fight me. That was not a kid's show. Fight me.
I consider that to be the best incarnation of Batman.
No and yes. And the reason I'm giving a non-committal answer like that is, I would it was a lot more adult than you'd expect, but I still think like it was a show that was okay for kids, and you can argue with me on that point, and I will accept an argument. But it was also definitely made for adults too.
Like
Oh,
No,
But-
I don't mean that it couldn't be shown to kids. I meant its subject matter was adult.
Well, that
Yes.
was the
Oh,
time.
then yeah, no arguing.
Well, that was the time when they were trying to push the envelope as far as they could with what they could get away with too. So, I mean, that was also when with the Animaniacs fingerprints joke.
Well, the
It was
Animaniacs.
around that time.
Animaniacs had a lot of shit that went over kids' heads.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Like,
anime.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mage.
Yeah, but they still make jokes like that in kid shows today. It's like even if you watch Phineas and Ferb, there's some jokes that are just going to go over the
Oh,
kids' head
well-
because they're not there for the
That
kids.
was Modern Life.
So one of them, the characters says is Duster Prince, and Dot goes and gets Prince, the
Yeah,
singer.
no, I mean
And
that's
no fingerprints. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. We're not going there.
Yeah, God, that
Those
that
aren't
particular one.
Too.
You know, I'm really surprised that a lot of like the high schoolers like Tom and Jerry.
I couldn't get into Tom and Jerry when I was a little kid.
Well, it's just slapstick
Really?
humor, but
Yeah,
it's just Tom and Jerry is what,
a million years
90
old.
years old?
Yeah, that show's been around forever.
It's old, yeah. But you know, Bugs Bunny is old as fuck, and so is Porky Pig, and like they're all old.
Tom and Jerry, well, hasn't had as many reincarnations as some other
Dark
shows. Though.
Fuck yeah, Jason! Pirates of Darkwater fucking rules.
Oh, I missed that one. I liked
love
that show.
show.
I don't think I've ever actually seen that thing all the way through.
No
Oh,
clue.
it's so good. And the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon on Saturday mornings was fucking epic.
I have
Pirates of
I have
Darkwater.
that on-
That is
I
right.
do remember
for
Dungeons
Netflix.
and Dragons cartoon. It was good.
Yeah, but what is the Dungeon Master doing with those kids?
Yeah, he's a real shit dungeon master. He's gonna put a level 1 group against Tiamat. What a fucking shit dungeon master.
I didn't say he was a nice guy. I said the show was good.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
If your DM is a nice guy, if your DM is nice, then you're not having fun. But you know, I mean, you put that group up against like someone like Benjamin. Come on.
I
Well,
mean,
you
the
do
Dungeon
get-
Master is, I think, a wizened old gnome in this series. And
Yeah.
what is he doing with all these teenage human kids?
Well, they do give you a panty shot on Sheila in the first episode.
That's
You know,
very
if
true.
if it was a Scooby Doo episode, they'd unmask him at the end.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Hey, I know I just brought you here, and you're level 1. Here's Tiamat.
Yeah, go for it. I remember watching that. I watched it a couple years ago. I was like, Jesus fuck, that my DM rules compared to this guy. I mean, my DM rules in general, but like, yeah, yeah, I've seen it on.
Ah,
I've watched
You know,
nice. Ollie.
after the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender, I want to see a live action Pirates of Darkwater, but I don't think it has the popularity.
I'll watch the shit out of that. Even if they redo the animation, I'll watch the shit out of that. Fucking Pirates of Darkwater ruled.
Have you ever read ElfQuest?
Read
What's up,
who?
buddy?
ElfQuest.
No, but I've heard of it.
It's
I
done
used
by
to
the
read-
same people.
I've heard that. I used to read the Lone Wolf books, the like Choose Your Own Adventure Lone Wolf books. I used to read and play those.
Yeah, ElfQuest is done by the same people who did the Pirates of Darkwater.
Oh, dope.
I had one book like that growing up, and I don't know how many times I read that book. I knew the lines before I got to the blanks.
Oh, like a Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, I had it like fucking memorized. You know, what do you want to do here? You either go to page 2 or page 7. You know,
Yeah, I
and
remember those.
I had it memorized, and I was like, no, I've already done it that way. No, I've already done it that way. No, I wasn't autistic growing up. Like I knew all the common. I knew, oh no, I've already been to 2 and then 5 and then back to 1 and to 12. I'm not going to take that route again. Let me go this way. You know,
I remember reading one of those books where, like, one of the endings that you're supposed to try to get was ending up in some version of paradise. Can't remember its name. But
think it's-
I
honestly,
have no idea who that is.
one of the people behind ElfQuest. It was a husband and wife team for a while. I think they're now divorced.
I think at some point I'm gonna rebuy the probably after I'm able to move. I'm gonna rebuy the Lone Wolf set and play those. It came with like a map, and it was kind of like a character sheet in each of them, and like I fucking love those books.
You know, one of these days, closer to Halloween, I need to get some people together for a Call of Cthulhu game.
I would love to be part of that.
I would like to play
I've
Call
been
of
craving
Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu for a while, so.
Or Curse of Strahd. I would like to play that.
What happened?
Strahd is a good
What's going on?
campaign,
What
too.
happened? What's going on?
No. Someone mentioned something that I want to be a part of.
I can pull out Horror on the Orient Express.
Those are my siblings' names, and that sounds like a really weird combination to me. Although one I don't claim anymore, but yeah, Wendy is my sister.
I've heard about Rifts, but Torque has a much better setup for a multi-genre game.
I want a Rifts group.
I've never heard of that. I don't think. Not that I'm.
Elf Quest. I kind of, sort of.
I've heard of it.
remember
I've
something about elves, but I don't. I know I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Can't
I've
picture it in my head.
I've heard of it.
Listen,
Like Dungeons and
for a
Dragons, I can picture it in my head. That cartoon.
Yeah,
For a certain type of nerdy female teenager, ElfQuest was Twilight before Twilight came about. Plus, it had artwork, so because it was a graphic novel, and you got to see a lot of shirtless elves.
Let's see here.
Palladium RPG Rifts is my all-time favorite, above World of Darkness and Shadowrun.
I hate Shadowrun. I
Why?
hate it so much.
Why do you hate? Why?
Because it's just, if I'm playing a game like that, I don't want to. I want to, like, there's guns and cars and shit now. If I'm playing something like that, I want to play like a D&D, you know, like a high. I'm not much. I'm more of a high fantasy than a sci-fi person. But Shadowrun.
Yeah, me too.
I played a game that was based on the world in the Lone Wolf books, and then the DM took us from that into a Shadowrun game.
So I'm guessing you don't like modern fantasy and urban fantasy.
I would read. I don't like stuff that has modern convenience. I got a car.
Yeah, I
now.
like medieval. I like medieval stuff. I'm
Really?
totally
I love
addicted. For
steampunk.
instance,
Yeah.
I'm totally addicted to Elder Scrolls Skyrim right now. Totally.
If you give me a chance, I'm going to play the Tinker Gnome.
Yeah, I couldn't. Even like I wanted to play an Artificer. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Give you an idea of what Elf
Yeah, I
Quest
have
looks
heard
like.
of it. I've never watched it. Yeah, I do. I do remember seeing that before.
And now all the females can verify what I said about the shirtless elves.
Eh.
I just said there were a lot of shirtless elves.
And of course, the guys have like strong jaws, and the women are all pretty and have big boobs. Because it's for kids.
I don't
Anyways,
think those facial features should fit on an elf. I think all elves should be like kind of like they should all look like Orlando Bloom.
Vampire, I say, would fall into dark fantasy along with the rest of the World of Darkness.
I enjoy
Well, that's
Vampire
one
the
of
Masquerade. Gotta watch LA by Night on World of Darkness. Jason.
Mage is much better than any of the other games in it, though.
well, that's why I like Skyrim so much. You can become a werewolf or a vampire or nothing at all and just be a regular person.
Yeah,
but there's
World of
different.
Dark-
If you become a vampire, there's a whole different set of quests for that, you know. So it's
World of-
interesting, you know. It's almost like a choose your own path. You can have 3 different paths.
World of Darkness is a modern setting, and like it can get really weird depending on the game.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching like I watched LA by Night. I try to get into New York by Night, but oh my god, Kindred the Embrace, I remember that. I remember that show.
I don't.
Yeah, I used to watch that.
I would love to see a show about the Sons of Ether, though. Or sorry, the Council Society of Ether now.
I never heard of that.
It's one of the Mage traditions.
Oh.
And one of their storylines was they stopped being so sexist.
Oh.
Which is why it went from the Sons of Ether to the Society of Ether.
Yeah, I remember I used to record the Embrace because when I was working, I'd tell my mom like, oh, or I record it once I got my own TV, I'd record it and then I'd watch it like the next day or something like that. But I remember that.
Yeah.
Like back when we had
we only
VCRs.
ever had one TV in the house, and never could afford a VCR or anything like that. But
We used to only have one TV in the house. Actually, we had two. We had the one in the room, and then my parents had one in their room. And then I wanted a TV for a minute. And my biological mother kept saying she was going to buy me a TV for Easter, and then for my birthday, and then for Christmas, and then for my birthday, and my dad just said fuck it and got me my own TV in my own room. It's not going to. So
I'm guessing you wouldn't like the Dresden Files either.
I tried watching it. I couldn't get into it.
Don't watch that series.
so Marty was one of those rich white kids. Okay.
You know what? For the way
Read
we
the books.
lived, for the amount of money that my dad made, the way we lived was like we weren't poor. Like my dad, like we were pretty well off. My best girlfriend who lived like 4 houses away was like one of the most popular girls in school. So like we weren't like poor. My dad wasn't cheap. But the money my dad made, we could have had like a regular house with like a big yard. We could have had all that stuff. My dad worked at a factory for almost 40 years. So back then, you know, that you can.
Oh yeah, it paid good. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could have totally afforded stuff like that. I don't know why he never moved out of that house until they came down here to Georgia. But back in Jersey, he could have afforded a regular house, but I don't know why we stayed in the mobile home for so long. I don't know why. But
saving up money, I guess. That's what I would have done. Live as cheap as you can, so when you get older, you can enjoy what you worked for.
Yeah, he used to say that he didn't want bills, but like we had to pay rent. Like we owned the home. Like he paid for the house, bought the house, but we rented the space. So he used to be like, "Well, I don't want to have bills like a mortgage, but you're paying rent. It's the same."
Well, you're still gonna have bills, but not as much.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah,
it's the same thing. So, but yeah, I was we were the last ones to have a computer because my dad wasn't like into that stuff. Like my dad never like was into like a whole lot of technology until he saw how cool it was, and if it did something cool and oh, this makes life easier, then he was on it. Like my dad has the sense of direction of a bird. Like his sense of direction is impeccable, but so he would use a regular compass. But once he started, once he saw like you know, like a GPS, how cool that was, he had a Garmin to get him in and out of the woods. Like, so, but he was able to do it himself. But it's easier with this. Fuck it. Like,
yeah, no, and you're right, Jason. And now the average income is the cost of a brand new cheap car.
Yeah,
which is fucking.
Yeah, we basically need to redistribute the wealth or distribute it more fairly and get prices down.
I mean, I would also argue,
and
like,
wages up.
Considering the cost of food crisis that we're having and everything like that, and just how much of a drain upon society and how little they contribute, we kind of just need to eat the rich.
No, we need some rich
people.
people.
They just need, you know.
As bad as Elon Musk is, I do like privatized space travel.
Did you know that until like Biden's trying to like
regulated.
raise how much, you know, Biden raised how much the rich people have to pay in taxes? Even doing that, it's still not comparative to what it was 30 fucking years ago. 40 years ago, 50 years ago. They pay less now at the end of the day in comparison than they did all the way back then. So that's why everybody's trying to raise it. They don't pay anywhere near what they should be.
Yeah. And that part of the issue is that the actual like listed amount that they're supposed to pay, they aren't paying. And it's not always necessarily, well, it's tax evasion, but it's not, sometimes it's like legal tax evasion. Like there's,
well, yeah, because they have loopholes and those loopholes need to go bye-bye. They're there on purpose to help them.
Here's the thing, raising the tax rate isn't going to change anything. It's only going to take more money from the people who actually are willing to pay their tax. What we need to do is we need to close those fucking loopholes. We need to actually get them to pay their share.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, if we got rich people to pay their share, the actual tax rate, we could theoretically, I'm spitballing a little bit, but we could theoretically have the amount that on paper rich people are supposed to pay. But if we actually made them pay it, we'd still get a lot more in tax revenue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I don't see, and that's the problem I have with raising it too much is because you're right. You're only punishing the people that are paying them, and that's not fair to those companies that are being honest. because there's the dishonesty in the other companies. You know, like Trump paying $2,000 in taxes for a year. Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Or
I
whatever
mean,
it was he paid. Like, that's not even anywhere near what it should have been. You know, that's the kind of problem I have. So, I mean, there's lots of wealthy people out there that do pay their part, but you're right. Without all of them doing it, we're never going to get ahead. We're never going to catch up. We're never going to be able to fix our horrible fucking infrastructure in this country.
Well, the French did have a solution to that when wealth inequality got too out of hand.
Is it called the guillotine?
It wasn't a good solution, but they had one.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
Well, for a certain definition of worked.
Huh? Was that a cartoon when you were a kid, John? Ronnie Reagan? And that's good, because we should encourage that. I mean, people like small businesses and people run their own shit are more likely to like give money to charity and stuff and help the community or whatever than a big corporation. They're not going to help. They don't care about the community. Walmart doesn't care about every community its Walmarts are in. They don't, you know, but the mom and pop down the street that's worked their ass off and build up their business, they're going to give back to the community. So that's another reason why that's a good thing.
Ronnie
There are
Reagan.
also some things in the modern world that no one thinks about. And I remember having a conversation with a physics teacher about this once who didn't understand what I was saying because he just never thought about how algorithms affect things. Google's search engine optimization algorithms ensure that certain companies are going to stay at the top regardless. Like Amazon is always going to be at the top of the online shopping search results because they can afford to keep the money there. Or they can pay the money to keep them there.
I just come up with an 80s band with Ronnie Reagan.
So what Google needs to do is actually come up with a version that's not commercialized for just searching for information, or someone does. They also need to like change their search engine optimization algorithm so it's like if there are competing businesses, like the top 10 or so, or however many you want, like just switch them and maybe compete for like the new and upcomers can compete for the one more slot occasionally. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the issue is
bullshit.
We need to randomize the results sometimes in some way with so many slots between like a top number of competitors. Because while Walmart is trying to compete with Amazon, Walmart has the money, Walmart's never going to have the same ranking on their website for SEO.
There's some cute shit on Walmart.com though.
Oh, I'm not saying Walmart will probably be fine even if it doesn't compete with Amazon.com's shopping model one-on-one. Because Walmart has driven out a lot of mom and pop businesses and there's not a lot of other places you can go in places like where I live.
Yeah. I find in the lab with my area, you can't really buy anything else. I go like 20 miles out nowadays.
I made
Yes, that's correct.
What I make last year. I think I made like 21 grand last year. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, you made it about as much as I did, and that's with the unpaid summer vacation.
It's about time for us to start wrapping up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hate to tell you guys, but it's hitting the hour here, so
Don't remind me I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Can I show my book in the chat, Beck?
Of course you can.
Cool. I wrote a book. I need some.
Thank you, Mage, for putting in Maya's live stream. Everybody go over there. Do you want to put Embers in too for the in-between, for the 30-minute in-between?
Oh, it's too.
So Ember is live right now. You guys after that can run over to Maya's. The link is right there if you just want to click on it. Yeah, Marty's gonna put a book in there. Yes.
Yeah, I'm typing it. I can't post the link because it was too long.
YouTube wants to give me the wrong Ember, so
no, I can't. I can't post links in the chat, so the link to my new channel is in private. If someone wants to put it up there.
So it's called The Idea of You on Amazon, but you have to search. You have to search it by my name, Marty O'Malley. The Idea of You by Marty O'Malley. Otherwise, you won't be able to find it. There's another couple books called The Idea of You will come up, and that's not mine. It's just poems about my shitty ex-boyfriend.
Marty.
Okay, so everybody go there next to Embers, and then you can go up to Mages up there and go to Maya's stream. Please go ahead and subscribe over here for Porpoise, please. That is her link, right? Bam, there. So everybody subscribe over there, and then
go buy my book.
and go buy Marty's damn book. You got anything going on, Sabrina?
Not at the moment. I am gonna try. I have been trying to go forward and start streaming again soon, but I've put that on a bit of a hold right now because there's just a lot of busyness going on at work. But I will be starting to stream soon. Though, for those of you who are interested, I did change my name a little bit on Twitch. I was Pharmacy Sabrina, but now I go as Sabrina the Apothecary, underscores in between the words.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just play games, stream random stuff. I with a strong preference for very queer games.
I was gonna make a gaming channel. I don't think I was gonna be able to figure out how to do it.
Speaking of which, have you heard of the Baldur's Gate 3 sultry speedrun?
The sultry speedrun? Which one are we talking about here?
It's how quickly you can romance Shadowheart, and it doesn't matter which gender.
Yeah. Oh, because all the romanceable characters are bisexual.
I cannot find your damn book. It keeps giving me Robbie Lee's book, The Idea of You.
My name. You have to type The Idea of You, Marty O'Malley. Otherwise, you won't be able to...
That's why I did, and it's not.
Here, let me see if I can put it on here.
That's the only one that's coming up.
The Idea of You, Marty O'Malley, OMALLIE. Here, I put it on the private chat, Mage.
Yeah, put in the here. I'll grab it from there. I don't know why it did not want to come up with your book.
Yeah, you have to type the whole. You have to type the whole thing and then my whole name, otherwise it won't.
Yeah, I did
Idea of You, a poetic journey from heartbreak to healing, Kindle edition.
Yep.
Which I have the link to.
Cool. Yep, that's it, Jason.
There you are.
Oh, you
my God, look how long that ended up being.
I know. I was.
Look.
It took a long time in one thing.
Just so you know.
If you're a Windows user and want to check out some like silly old style video games, check out sinisterporpoise2.itch.io.
Just so you know, you can actually take off the REF equal part and everything after that, and it will work.
Oh.
Yeah,
thanks.
I mean,
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that is just because of the way PHP works, believe it or not.
Yep.
Hey, if you didn't know I was a computer nerd by now, you know now.
All right, everybody. I want everybody to have a great evening. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. Enjoy whatever you do for work mañana or not. And I just want to thank everybody for coming. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Have some peace in your life. All right, you crazy people. You stay cool. Keep it real. Keep an eye out for each other. Suck in that content you love. Dance like nobody's watching. Go after your passions and enjoy them. I'm out.